It's the penultimate day of the week and the penultimate day of the MistGames Heroes of Lofoten closed qualifiers. 16 teams have been cut down to 8 in the online circuit. We'll see who will be moving on to Lofoten in just a short few moments' time. Welcome everybody back to the stream. I'm the Eternal Dre. I'm joined by Dwight here for this fine Saturday. How you doing, man?
Very excited. Always like Saturdays, and the reason, especially in this context, is that we've got a promotion match. We've actually gotten to the stage now where we've said goodbye to the round of 16 matches, and now we're on to the one best of threes that can get you to land.
Yeah, over the course of the last few days, we've been playing out the round of 16 games to decide who's going to be the ultimate contenders, and well, now that those are over, as you mentioned, Dweg, it's all about the glory. We've cut them down. We are now set with just 8 teams left, 4 matches to play over the next 2 days of action. Young Ninjas, Apex Rebels, 0-0 Prospects, Big Academy, Masonic, 7am, Mouse NXT, Atlantic. Those are the teams that will be doing battle over the next 2 days.
And I'm very glad that we did have some upsets, right? That we didn't have 8 out of 8 of the favourites going through, because then it makes these games a little bit more spicy. It makes it almost untellable in some capacity of actually who's going to be qualifying.
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking a look at some of these couple of matches. I'm thinking to myself, these ones could be pretty decent bangers. We've seen some upset runs from the likes of 7am, Atlantic, obviously, coming in against the 777 side. I mean, they've still got difficult affairs in Masonic and Mouse NXT coming up over the next couple of days. But for today, we're focusing on one best of 3. And I guess this is kind of the appropriate time to only have one match in our days proceeding. 0-0 Prospect versus Big Academy as our matchup to kick things off over the course of today. This one's going to, the reason why I say it's appropriate that this is the one match we have today is because of all of the quarterfinal games we have in the qualifier, this one has got to be easily, for me, the most unpredictable of the lot.
You could say that. Again, there may be some evidence that sways further towards the Swedes, but this is a swaying of a lot more of a minimal context than what we've had in the round of 16.
It's very much like that Apex versus Flames matchup we saw yesterday, and hopefully it won't end up in that sort of fashion with a one-sided ending. This one should be able to deliver on paper. So let's start talking about the paper in front of ourselves right now. 0-0 Prospects is the first team up to discuss at this particular stage, and they've been respectable. I didn't know what to expect out of this Prospects lineup. The 0-0 Nation side were kind of in a weird spot with their academy team because they don't really have any sort of basis in Europe when it comes to their Counter-Strike team. So having a European team with their Brazilian squad as well, and that whole deal when they first founded it was so weird of a dynamic. But this is a squad that have actually done okay.
Yeah, and we had a little content piece a while ago, and I actually rated the Prospects roster move as one of the best in Tier 2. And the reason for that is where they began to where they are today is such a stark contrast, because this was a team that was struggling. It was a team that was core Norwegian, it had some international players, but they were struggling to find their footing. And now that they've brought in that core of France and Hype and Bobek, things are starting to improve. You bring in Rolf as well, a very experienced player, someone that had quite a bit of tenure and time out there on Young Ninjas. So the lineup itself screams positives, but I think they're still yet to show it at the highest of the capacity.
When you take a look at their Tier 2 results in tournaments like CCT, for instance, and you take a look at how their Swiss stages have gone, and they haven't always been as amazing, I think that's because they are still establishing themselves. And here in the Heroes of Lofoten qualifier, I think that talent has still been on show at this kind of a level. Like, they might not be quite ready to break in to be a definitive Tier 2 team, but right now here in this tournament, they're banging heads.
And they're coming closer and closer. You even look at their performance against 9 Academy, and it felt comfortable. I think we saw a couple of best of 3s where you can look at certain maps and say, oh, they were tested, right? Or they actually dropped a map. I don't think Prospects were ever in that conversation against 9 Academy of dropping a map. They looked comfortable. They got the job done. They're still going to have to bring their A game because you are going up against a strong team.
And indeed, that strong team is another fellow Academy squad. Big Academy, in fact, is what will be standing against them on the other side of the board. And these boys, I mean, it's a similar story to the Prospects in the sense that you don't really rate them as highly as some of the other Academy teams, but they themselves have also been making improvements with Sin back in the lineup, the constant changes that they make towards this side. Arrow, of course, spending in as of right now, and all eyes on him to see how well he can do. There's a lot to look at here for Big Academy.
There is. I think that they're definitely in a more sour patch at the moment than what we've seen previously, because you think back 6 months ago or so, I think Big Academy were in the conversation as the best Academy team. We had guys like Sin, guys like Crimbo going up to the main team. They'd been able to place top 4 in season after season of the Academy League. And then we look back at what happened in Season 6, which is the last one, and you're not making it out of groups.
Yeah.
So I wonder whether the slight changes of Sky coming into the lineup, Arrow towards the beginning of this year, is a reason that the results haven't been up to par, and they're looking for changes. They're looking to try and get back to the point where they were very successful.
Or going away from changing into more some of other solid elements. I want you to give me your head-to-head. So who are you looking at the most in this matchup?
I'm looking at the two guys that thoroughly impressed me in the opening games. Spooky's been a part of the lineup for a very long time. Look at that, over 500 days for him. I think he's a very consistent rifler and has found better form since the Swedes have come over than previous iterations. Process as well, always a top player when it comes to the big academy side. He put up nearly 70 kills in that best of 3 against Metasport in the round of 16, and he again has also been here for a very long time. So the two players that performed the best in their opening games are the two players that have been on both teams the longest.
It's kind of curious actually you mentioned that Metasport matchup, because I think that overall here in the qualifier itself, right now it feels like the Prospects are the team that are coming in stronger, right? Because that 9 Academy game, that was a 2-0 for the Prospects versus Metasport, who took Big Academy quite the distance over in their game, and unexpectedly so. We thought they were going to get smashed in that game. That hasn't quite happened. Is that a weakness to consider here for Big?
Well, I'll put it this way, Jay. We had 8 matches in the round of 16, so 6 of them went through with the favourites, 2 of which were upsets, obviously Atlantic and 7am. Out of all 6 of the favourites that won, there was only a single team that went to 3 maps, and that was Big Academy. Every favourite team that won got a 2-0. What's that telling you?
Telling me that things might not be as clean for the Big Academy side, especially in this kind of a match that I have also faced against the Prospects in the past as well. It was back in Academy League Season 6. We saw a 16-14 on Mirage, a 19-16 on Nuke, going to Prospects and Big respectively. Yeah. If we see those maps in this Vita, I think it would be very interesting to see how close it would be. But as a benchmark for how close this series could really get, that is what we're looking at here.
And knowing that there has been quite tight in the past, we have to remember the format's different. That's best of 1s, now we're in best of 3s. Does that change things? Because one thing that we noticed from Apex Rebels and the likes of Flames Ascent, they were quite close in the head-to-heads, but yet when the best of 3 came along, it was a completely different discussion.
Looking back at that anchor point of the Academy League itself, obviously, as you mentioned, Big didn't make it out of groups, Prospects did, and they were in the same group at the same time. So again, there's a lot of comparison points and anchor points to take a look at in terms of these two teams. In terms of the head-to-heads, obviously we've seen 2 maps on record between these two sides, and as we look towards the Vito Dweg, I have to ask, are we going to see familiar territory today?
I don't think so. I think for Prospects, they'll get rid of Anubis. They don't like that map at all. Nuke coming in, always a standard. As for picks for Prospects, they've been liking the Overpass, and they've been liking the Ancient. For Big Academy, they're liking their Vertigo right now. So I think Vertigo or Inferno are some good options for Big.
So a couple of good maps right there for them. You mentioned that Anubis ban coming through from Prospect. Still waiting for that here in the qualifier. I want to cast it so much. And indeed, Vertigo will come through here. Prospects, what's their pick?
Overpass or Ancient. Either one of those 2 maps should be key.
Okay, let's have a look, see what they're going to bring up. Overpass, Ancient, the 2 ones we're looking at. Overpass is left in. Have got those Inferno and Ancient options to go towards at the end here for both particular teams. Big Academy will get their pick of the ban, and it will be the Prospects that make the decision. So how do we see it playing out from here? I
think both teams would be happy to float Inferno right to the end. Ancient being banned out, a map that we don't see Big Academy playing very often. So yeah, Inferno could be a good decider.
And that's what we'll get, Inferno. 3rd map in this series. Any particular winners in this Vito, Dweg?
Not necessarily. I look at Overpass and think there shouldn't be a chance. So much Overpass gets played for 0-0 Prospects. I look at Vertigo and think shouldn't really be much of a chance for Prospects. So for both sides, I think it should be fairly clinical on map picks. We will definitely be going to a decider.
I really hope we do, honestly. With how close the previous best of 1s have been between these two sides, I think it's only appropriate that we get to see a decider map in this series. I'm hesitant to ask this question again, Dwayne, because it is so finely cut between these two sides. Is there any particular favourites you have? Anyone you predict are going to win this matchup?
Well, I'm looking at Inferno. Arrow, the newer player, has only played it once. Rolf, the newer player for Prospects, has played it 10 times. A lot more match experience. So for me, I'm backing the Swedes on this one.
Okay, I can attest to that sort of idea. I think there's just a very slight sort of hint of them being, again, slight favourites. There's no real definitive advantage for either side in this particular context. So let's jump into the game and see how far it can go for their respective sides. Already into a tech pause before we even get this match underway.
Lovely.
So, yeah, just get a quick reconnect on Big Academy's side, get Sky into the server, and get back underway with this one. Inferno will be the opening map. Anything we should be expecting here at the moment?
I think looking at the Vertigo, we've seen some pretty good performances out of Sin. Hyped is normally always someone that you can look at. Process, again, one of the players that we highlighted in that head-to-head for being a top and consistent performer. Vertigo has had some tough luck for the Prospects in recent history, Jay. 2 wins and 6 losses in the last 3 months, whereas for the Germans at Big Academy, 7 wins in a row. So in the last 3 months for them, 7 wins and 0 losses. The largest win streak that Big Academy have right now.
The series is going to try change the complexion of both teams' records and again change the complexion of how Lofoten will look as well. This is a qualifying game. No second chances, no second lifelines. All about this one matchup. Winner goes to LAN. Let's kick it off in our first qualifying game with the heroes of Lofoten. Pistol round with the prospects being out towards the CT start. Big setting up for the attack towards ramp.
Oh, we saw Vertigo coming through as a map pick for 9 Academy out there in the round of 16 against the Swedes. We saw 7 rounds on the CT side coming through from the prospects. And with the heavy stack out to B, it will have to be a shift of a rotation towards the A side. Big Academy gaining that ramp control, spotting the first player out to the tops, and Spooky's going to drop.
It's a good start for Process. First blood has been drawn. Nades are sent back towards the sandbag. Smokes are going down towards the bomb site. Had a fair amount of utility in this round here for Big, and they're going to utilize it to best effect. 2 CTs on rotate. They will only get to the backside.
Sin's expecting another player to come through from the alley position. Flash is very good. Franson trying to see if he can get a couple of pop shots through that smoke, but so far, not really much.
Decent damage done to Arrow and Process, so there is some return on the prospects, but still that 5-on-4 that favours Big. Bomb down, default, Hype is going to sit right on it, has backup all around him. In from side alley, out towards ramp, defensive line held. And the USPs will prod forward. The T side prodding out. Flashes in from Sin. Going to aid his teammates. Keep players blinded. Franson solo. Bobek's dead. Hype with one decent trade of Process. Holds the back line only for a moment. Rolf with a responsive. Still a 3-on-2 that favours the big side. Smoke on the bomb. There is no kit for the CTs at the moment here. They're going to hold the 10-second stick. Knives are brought out. They get a little bit of damage on towards Rolf. He somehow escapes with that kill, but Sin and Sky come in with kills themselves, and Big will take the pistol.
Yeah, we saw Vertigo as well for Big Academy. Think back to map number 3 against Metasport, and that was probably the only map in the series where it felt as if Big Academy were just the much better team, just completely overpowering them. 16-8 was that scoreline, consistent on the first and the second half. And Prospects going up with the Force Spy. MP9, some upgraded pistols, some util to follow. Trying to see if they can clap back with a steal.
Straight in with the Force Invest. Prospects wasting no time bringing out the firepower, as is to be expected. We've been discussing a little bit about the strategies of the second round buy-ups here over the course of the last few days and seeing which teams go with what sort of strategy. This too far out of the ordinary here for the Prospects?
Fairly similar from them. Try and put that pressure on immediately. Even Big Academy are going in for a couple of upgraded SMGs on the anti-eco. Might be good against at least the one helmeted player, but think about everyone else. Very passive out to the ramp control. Not much movement in mid. Big Academy could possibly be setting themselves up for a mid-round fake. Try and draw a gamble stack if possible.
It's a minute to go for the lean-in. Big must be of the understanding that there is a force by element involved in this. The Eagles have shot back. Franson has taken an engagement down to a 77 HP, so nothing major in these early a minute of the round. Bombs coming in out towards ramp. Hype is going to try with the opening fragger. Mac 10 in his hands.
Just knowing this MP9 is in a slight off angle from Rolf. Got to get one kill, just fall back.
Sticks around only for a moment, thinking there might be more aggression from Big, but indeed he does find Sin. One SMG dropped on the T side. Process. Passing that bomb back to a teammate, allowing the peaks to come through. They've got backup utility here on the Prospects. 27 seconds, the hit's got to come out.
If they could deny the bomb, even a first time, that could actually put in a lot of panic. Deagle spam for Spooky, does deny.
5-on-3, time to the essence, making it 2 now as Rolf strikes back with another good SMG kill. Arrow with 1. Rolf still playing around. One T-side player is forced forward. Process will get dealt with by Spooky, and Rolf will deal with the last, so it will be a forced back steal again from the Prospects.
Rolf and Spooky putting in a valiant effort. Now, we actually saw Rolf having a slightly underwhelming performance, I would say, against 9 Academy, struggling to be able to find his impact. He's quite new to this team, Jay. He's actually only been a part of the lineup officially for the last couple of weeks, so I imagine for Rolf, being able to push them into LAN, get some more comfortability with the team, because it's always a slightly massive jump when you go from organization to organization and you've got important events on the line pretty much immediately.
Buyback in here from the big side. AK in for Process, some more of a hero force invest, but truly a force invest from them. There's no savings at all for the T-side line. That bomb plant bonus enabling this to come through from Big. A little bit stronger than the standard double eco status. The Prospects are the ones in control here.
Well, we saw even a couple of months ago, Vertigo used to be the permaban for 0-0 Prospects.
Nice nade.
The one thing that they have to try and achieve, now knowing that they want to be getting rid of the Nubis, Jay, is that, well, we've got to be practicing our Vertigo, because a lot of teams are going to be picking it against us.
Opening fight going the way of Big here. Good call from Process to give that AK back to Sin. Kevlar helmet, a little under 100 HP, still rocking the majority of it. Thanks for that engagement against Spooky, now setting up a chance for a secondary pick here for the big side. If they can just get that AK inserted into the right positions, find those right picks without getting traded. And this round can fall apart quickly here from the Prospects.
The Prospects are making the right decision. They're down by 1. They're trying to search for a frag back towards ramp. They want to get an idea on where the default's regrouping. Even a smoke towards the top of the stairs. Rolf getting that distraction, turning it into 2, dropping the bomb.
Hyped also falling to Hype. That's going to be a fun little engagement. But Prospects have maintained control here despite that opening frag going the way of Big. They couldn't capitalize upon it. That AK looking the wrong way. Process dealt with. Trade from Sky is good towards the B's half of the map, but the bomb's got to get recovered here by Arrow, who's shooting arrows to heads. Hype picked up. Bomb does get recovered. Damage has been done to the man. He's going to stick around the boxes. Is he going to be able to take a fight? Yes, he will, but he'll lose it. Rolf, 15 seconds of that casualty.
Oh, that's it,
yeah, it's got to be after. It's going to have to be a safe call here from Sky. There's nothing he can do.
You can't blame Sky there at all. Lurks up towards the top of the B stairs. Even finds an impact frag to open it up. You just need that bomb to cross out. You need Arrow to get into the position. But at the same time, Arrow realizes the bomb's in CT control. I need to keep fighting. And that was a very good reaction from Prospects to realize Arrow's running away. Let's not give him the respect. Let's not retake 2v2. Put the pressure on. Make sure that bomb gets denied. And again, both teams, I would say, are very comfortable on their map pick. So if there somehow happens to be a steal, if Prospects are able to take Vertigo, that changes the complexion of this series completely of going to a third map.
We're very far off a definitive takeaway here from the Prospect side, so we'll have to hold on to our horses and consider that as we approach the ending stage of the map. Only 3 rounds deep, and it is a 2-1 for the CT side. Big not opting to buy around that saved M4. Of course, Sky's economy is going to be in a bit of a state when it comes to the rifle round.
Now, one thing we were discussing yesterday, Jay, in the Apex game was match experience in the recent history. Getting those game times, those officials under your belt. Prospects in the last 3 months have played nearly 70 maps on HLTV. Big Academy, 37. And you've got to remember that Prospects are playing events off of HLTV as well. So there is a huge difference when it comes to recent history on just how many games are being played.
It might be beneficial to that side for it. Big going to try and take those pistols in regardless. Again, shouldn't be favoured in this kind of a round. They're mostly looking to just do the damage to get towards the guns with a little bit of an economical advantage. Hype does get 2. Like Sky fun and Spooky. Hyped returns the favour onto Hype. The Eagle shot back to a 3-on-3 situation, and actually this is still a doable round for Big, but they are losing HP fast, and finally that M4 does fall. Second man in, that bomb in the open. Hype needs to hit some more headshots of that Deagle. It's got an M4 also picked up from the dead body of a CT player, so there's potential in terms of him using that rifle, but now Rolf closes in the backstab, pinces in from Ali, will spot his man, get his burst, and Sin sandwiched between CT forces. Won't last long here. He's got smoke for cover on the one side, not to the other. There it is, 3-1 for Prospects.
And I do want to entertain the Tizian conversation as well, because we know in the past at Big Academy, they demoted Kido, went on the Academy team, got promoted back to the main squad. Tizian went down, didn't go up, but also hasn't found himself on the Academy team anymore. Are you surprised that you're not using a highly experienced Tier 1 player here in the Academy squad? Because he was there.
I mean, yeah. It kind of would be up Tizian's wheelhouse to be that sort of veteran element of part of this team. Come back to that in a second, because early engagements are already going the way of the Prospects. And then the experience of Sin and Sky maybe costing them there in those opening fights. 2-for-1 trades. Damage done to Bobek, sure. And another one falls. Hype through the smoke. Reduces them to 2 now on the big side.
Just those fights coming through aggressively out to the B stairs. Now continuous pressure down from ramp. Process might not even expect getting backstabbed.
The push forward will continue from Spooky as soon as those flames extinguish, and he'll just press the issue as Hype goes for rotation back into that B site. Process and Arrow, where do they go with this? It seems to just be the straight up B commit, no splits, nothing fancy, but slowly but surely Spooky continues creeping forward. Hype gonna bolster up that B defensive, but out one CT here, leans in closer and closer, looking for his spray, looking for his 2K, will get the first, not the second. Process, even with the responsive, and Bobek be the first player of receiver 1 out of 3 that Process needs.
Now, this is such an awkward exchange to come down, because you've already given up the information. They know that you're out there to the B stairs. Where do you regroup? Try and get back up the ladder, go for a mid-walk, try and regain that ramp control. Prospects have just not to give up isolated duels, and even Rolf, who's playing here on A, very defensive, not looking for a fight, playing the off angle, looking to alley in case of a walk up.
It's got a Molotov on process at least, can try and force his position out from the CT side. Creeping up towards alley though, he's going to try to sneak his way onto that A site, 15 seconds to do so. But I imagine that Rolf is just going to be able to shut him down the moment he takes contact. He's in a pretty passive angle, but that bomb will be heard and utility will be thrown. And there it is, just waiting for the right moment to strike. 4-1 to the border prospects. This has been a stellar start.
And just knowing that they're being able to get off to that sort of beginning puts a pressure on Big Academy to respond in, to start getting some rifle rounds under their belt on the T side. Three the difference. Another eco round coming in. Prospects could not have asked for a better beginning.
Pistols held in, Bobek. Seeing 4 positions, going to fall back here. The M4's in here for hype. He's nerved with the AK sent. These pistols will try push in towards the ramp control. Kills are being found. Advantage sits with the T side though, as they do catch off hype. Overwhelming the same. 4 on 3 for the big side. These 2 M4s to play with, and one player caught out in the open. Process takes him down with effectiveness. And they wrap around in from Sin's part. Bobek next to drop. Rolf left alone. AK versus 4. Can't hold on forever. He's dead. Second to the board.
And we've seen that quite frequently over the course of the last couple of days. Excellent anti-eco there from the Big Academy side to just muster it up, work with those rifles, put the pressure up from the tops and into the sandbags, and just continue to commit. They don't slow it down. They don't try and over-rotate any of the individuals and try and cut them off in the mid part, but just work with those advantage, keep that pace up high. And that's the last thing the Swedes needed, because just when they were finding form, just when you're getting a round streak, you then lose a round you shouldn't have, and it resets your economy itself.
Damage was done, compounding for Big. AK's held the position. The flash is sent in to gain control of ramp, or at least to gain some sort of dominion over it. Nades sent up, Spooky and Rolf tagged up initially. They just wait for that contact. Slowly but surely Big will creep in. Stack is in play here, so there's potential in terms of finding a pick or two. Three, in fact. Process forced to try to bring it back of his own right. Oh, it's all falling apart, but Arrow has kept it together. Okay, we are barely involved in this game, but we are involved nonetheless.
And I think it shows there how much of a bait setup that really was. Because you had the first player from that city side, I think it was Hype, just jiggling down from the crane position, trying to drive them in. And as soon as that flash just pops right in the open, everyone tries to fight. Prospects even got Arrow down to 13 points of health, a very close steal. But for Big Academy, it means that all of those savings that could have been built up in that round just disappears.
Talking about damage done to the Prospects in their 4-round win streak. Similar story for Bing in their last 2. Counter reset potential, swing round in for round 8. Big will know it, playing a much different kind of style. First time we're seeing mid presence en masse.
Big have not seen much of the mid aggression. Could be very quick. Try and get a flash forward out to CT spawn.
There's one player in CT, got Bobek as well to hold the line, and Franson's going to go down pretty effectively. Kill there for Process. Sin falling back. Molotovs have been sent as well. They work closer. One CT in the back of the site past this smoke. Bobek will hold alongside Rolf's position, but Sin and Process can deal with them. One player left in Spooky. It's got to save.
Very gimmicky there from Big Academy. You can see that smoke goes down to CT Sport, and Process ends up just jumping through it. Has a slight height advantage up to the left-hand side. And Spooky actually committing to the 1v3 clutch. He started off with the first kill. There's a player close to his left-hand side he doesn't know about.
There's a burst through, and he brings it to a 1 versus 1. That's 2 kills to his name. Spooky trying his hand still. Where's the last man? He has no idea. Sky does. He's going to wait. Incendiary thrown. T-side player trying to move. Seen. The headshot not quite found. It's a very tight angle to hit. And Sky baits him closer, forcing Spooky to take that fight because he had no time. He won't have the round itself. 4 apiece. Decent damage done by Prospects, but they themselves have no buy.
And this is actually giving me a fairly similar vibe to Apex Rebels and Flames Ascent on Vertigo, where it comes down to a lot of tight-knit rounds, Jay, and we possibly will reflect back on certain rounds of 1vx's, 2v2s, and say that was the reason why they were able to get to 16. That was the round that got them over the line. Both teams are very competitive against one another right now. And the economy is just constantly in shambles. Sky, opening pick out to the B stairs, deals with Bobek.
Frag found to kick things off. This round should be a formality here from the T-side line. Just hold their position. Go for the hit is appropriate. Take it with clean confidence, and you should be able to overwhelm the pistols effectively. So, quick into those AKs. First player forward. Flash support from Hyped. Just making sure that they have all their bases covered. Don't want to run into another stack and potentially lose as many players as they did in the last eco pistol round. They have upgrade pistols this time around. There's so far no chance of presenting themselves in as the backline covered. Both players have fallen.
And this is Big Academy getting into their stride. Making sure that they don't lose silly fights up to the upgrades. Nice shot from the AWP from Hyped. And that could actually be a fairly good battle over the course against the best of 3, because I think we've seen some very good moments from both Hype and Hyped with the AWP. So as the series progresses on, we'll get some moments out of both of them, that's for sure.
Big Academy with a lead. Only a single round at this stage, and of course competing with the Prospects side, abusing those eco rounds to get the free ones together, and a lot more money to build up now compared to the last one. AK's in, Orps out, M4's set. Prospects losing 2 in those B engagements. Sky and Sin much more clinical than previous. Franson and Bobek, 2 players to fall. And B site is theirs.
Just beaten by pace in that one. Opening exchanges extremely fast. And then Spooky thinks, I've lost B. I'm going to have to start rotating down for the ramp control. And Process is still there on a lurk.
Roll, catches Sky. He's next to fall. Advantage at least reduced by 1, but still to the favour of Big. And A is looking pretty open for the moment. Hype is on his way in alongside Rolf. Minute and 10, and they continue walking their way forward.
It is kind of surprising that Big just didn't commit off of the back of that double entry. Instead, slow it down, and now they've read themselves into a position where they feel as if A could be free, but Prospects have got both players here.
Molotov to try to force Rolf into a bit more of an open position, which will work for the time being, but will still hide himself in that corner. Nades well on Hype, 44 HP, swing up from Arrow, winning the fight with Hype's flashbang, so perfectly coordinated there by the big side. 1 on 3 for the last Swede. Decent nade on the site, but won't take Process off the bomb, he'll stick it with 35 seconds to spare even then. Yeah, it's going to have to be a definitive safe call here for this M4.
And this is a very good recovery off of the back of Big getting off to what was a slow start on Vertigo. They come through with an eco steal. And then bang, they're right back into the action. They're able to follow up rounds in a row. They're getting a streak together. They're feeling the confidence in opening duels. And Prospects have not been able to keep it tight in these rifle rounds.
Big might have lost the early game, but here in the mid portion of the half, been all theirs. 5 in a row here for the German squad. Prospects will be feeling that pressure relatively soon. Only 1 M4 in for this round, half by around it at best.
And it is understandable. Again, this is the kind of series that I'm looking at, Jay, where Map 1 and Map 2 could be fairly one-sided. I don't think it will be one of those 16-14 down-to-the-wire kind of affairs. I could maybe see it on Map 3, but it's just both teams love Vertigo and Overpass just so much.
Well, certainly it's been a streaky game so far. Those streaks line up appropriately, then perhaps we could be looking down a close scoreline still. I'm still holding out hope for that, given what we've seen from these 2 teams in the past. Process sees the first head, finds Rolf, swings out. Second player was there towards Ram, but doesn't quite find the position.
And dealing with Rolf, who's been able to put on quite a show so far at 17 kills into round 11. He might have to be the danger man that gets dealt with on a consistent basis here for Big Academy. Process up and around the corner. A couple of players line up. He only deals with the first.
Hype tries to go back for the AK, though. He's caught off by Hyped. Responsive in there, 4-on-2. At least Franson has another M4 to play with, but out towards the A site on his lonesome. Bobbit with only a Deagle there if he wanted to support him with that stack. And Big happy to play to their own pace. Stagger, then go for a faster play. We're going for a kill of some sort, then just slow it down again. It's one more frag to find the A site itself, which Hype is going to land without missing a beat. 1 on player left versus 4. Bomb should get planted. Nothing left in it for Bobek.
Big Academy. I think we start to get the reason why this is a 7-0 map in the last 3 months. And against some good teams as well. Not always picked, though. I think they're starting to shift their veto process ever so slightly in recent history. I mean, even Ancient we can have a look at against Metasport in the round of 16. That was the first time that we saw Ancient being picked from Big, and I guess it came back to bite them. But that might be something that they're considering going into the new year, is how they want to change their veto around.
Tactical timeout taken by the Prospects, having lost 6 on the trot. Now the time to change up how this current map is playing. They've received Big en masse. T-side are looking real confident right now here. And again, this is Big's map pick. Staple of their squad. The Prospects are feeling the heat for it.
And knowing that they can get that big green back out on Hype, have not been able to see that in his hands all that often, just due to the economy state. 3 over towards ramp early round, lurk smoke going down, give you some cover. Even have that HE behind the sandbags in case that's where Hype wanted to warp aggressively.
Spooky's M4 waiting here. Nade sent on as well. Damage in minimal amounts done to Process. That's it for the contact again. Big happy to play as slow as they like.
Now, Rolf can just re-smoke up on the sandbags, which is going to make it very uncomfortable to retake any further ramp control. Sin has to just wait for the flash behind him. The util's been good for Big.
Engagement less or so here for the Prospects. Process wins out against Spooky, and Rolf can trade it back. Sky, the dead man over on the Big side, but Process inserting so far deep into side alley. Rolf will get one. Francis trade it back. Process in with a triple. Quadra perhaps against the next player up on the sandbags. He knows that he's there. His teammates challenging as well, and Process may be in for a quick swing. Adjustment at the edge of the smoke. Does lose Sin, but now it's a 1-on-2 for Bobek again.
Yeah, this is very possible for Bobek. He's got to time it right, though. Scoped in for Hyped. It seems as if they want to wait for a mistake, and it's actually the wraparound to come in. They haven't picked up the bomb control just yet.
I like this positioning from Process and Hype, though. The crossfire held, expecting there might be some sort of potential for a backstab. Peek it together, grab that bomb. Try jump face.
Oh, that timing, though, for Bobek's good.
Heard the footsteps, he heard the jump. The AWP, does he adjust towards it? Bobek sees him, takes a quick pop shot. Unknown here, swing back, the AK seeing him now. Molotov will force that AWP out, the shadow being seen. The burst fire, but Process works from the distraction to get himself an ace in this round. A round that brings Big up to the half advantage.
The Process is playing very well for the Big Academy side on T side. He got them out of trouble there. I feel for Bobek because he's done a lot right. He hasn't overpeaked the marker. He's waited the time. He's waited for the jump spot at the sandbags and thought, this is my opportunity. I'm going to go in from behind. And I look at that round and think if the AWP was just outside of the sandbags, he probably wins that 1v2. It was the slightest of timings that as soon as he went to fire, that's where Hyped moved and got into safer cover.
The half invest to follow suit from the Prospects. The economy still has not stabilized. It's Molotov sent on. Bobek and Franson. 2 players on the B site. Smokes held with the Molotov. The flashes are also at the ready. Got 1 man up close. That is a deagle on Bobek. Trying his best to position himself as appropriate. I don't think he's been seen as of right now. He's going to hold out for hope at the stairs. Quick peek in. He does find one of Arrow. Sky's made his way in toward the site. He's seen several players, and he will be able to deal with them. At least Franson gets 1 decent deagle shot back to respond, and several more to gain. 2 kills up to his name, in fact. Smokes in, trying to look for a better weapon. None of them are available to him, though. He has brought it back to a 2-on-2.
It's still got Sin and Hyped on the post plant. Spooky on the backstab again, but it's being watched so frequently.
SMG seen the one-man quick pop shot back. Decent damage being done, but return from Hype. Sin forced to hold the responsive trade and knows where Francis coming in from. Bomb out there in the open. Quick peek up, spotted with a shoulder bait, and he just pre-fire sprays, gets his kill, and continues the round streak for Big. That is 9 rounds total, 8 in a row for them.
And I've been thoroughly impressed with Big Academy in the late rounds, whether that be post plants or even getting up to bomb sites. It feels as if they're more composed in the 2v2s and the 1vx's, and that's where 0-0 prospects, again, look at that round and say, oh, it's just an eco. It is just an eco, but they're in that situation again where they're not quite pulling through, and it's just adding more to the round score line.
And the prospects, CT side bases look promising at the start, but that's as far as it's gone so far. Decent nades in, doing damage to Processor. Rolf credited with the opening kill. That's a start at least.
And Bobek can smoke off the top of the B stairs because he's waiting for a reaction. They've got an opening kill towards ramp. Is there going to be some pace down towards B? Hype's got to be careful of just how wide he jiggles into the angle.
Oh, crack angle with the head, not able to land it. Not entirely, at least. Hype took the damage. The AK looking to engage. One CT pushing forward, and they're unawares of him. He's in the midst of that smoke or spooky. How much can he gain out of this? Point blank against one Sin, forced to trade it. He's successful in that regard. 3 on 3.
He knows there's so much more, though. Knows that there's mass players down here from the bottom of the ramp position. Hype may have been seen on the jiggle. That's been heard.
Got to force the fight. Takes the quick engagement. Can't possibly hold on to the kills. Arrow caught Sin, but Hype's got the next player back. Hype was responsive towards Hype's position, and it's a one-on-one. Bobek, well far away at this position in connector. AWP's watching, and a quick peek at the M4 closes it out for good.
Yeah, that was an unorthodox approach there for Big Academy. So prospects won out the ramp control, and they had retaking nades towards the bottom of the ramp. They had the incendiary, they had the flash and the smoke. Normally, you'd respect it. You'd fall away from that bridge position and just give bottom ramp of that forklift area. Big Academy are actually on the other side of it. They wanted to keep fighting. And when that happens, it's just manic. You don't know who's going to be winning out those fights because it's so up close, it's so chaotic. And in the end, it is down to a 1vx where prospects come out on top.
One's presently still in control, are still Big, however. Last round of the half, they of course have a bye because that's what you get for 8 rounds in a row. And the prospects still broken in a couple of areas. The SMG is on 2, the FAMAS. Let's get one more good round, try and make it a respectable half, and indeed, Francis is going to start off well alongside Rolf's position. Quick peeks in from Process, going to try wrap in towards that mid control. Is he aware that both players are out in the corner? He might well be. Flashes in, Hype's caught a pick back, sprays a bit awkward. They almost line up for him though. Process forced to responsive, but now he's in a 1-on-2.
Out towards the mid control. You've got a player down at the other side of Guardian. Another one that can rotate in from that elevated position too. Matter of timing. Ah, easy kill for Bobek. Nice jiggle there between Guardian and City Spawn.
It's 3 rounds to the good still for Big. However, the closing half could have been much more staunch for them, so prospects can take away from that as you will. 9-6. It still favours the Germans on their own map pick, so things are still looking okay for them. The prospects must be thinking for a way out here.
You'd imagine so. They won't be happy with their performance in that first half. Yes, it was a 4-1 scoreline. They got off to a good beginning, but in the majority of rifle rounds, they were simply outclassed. A Big Academy going into their CT side, winning a very good 62.2% of rounds on the CT side of the last 3 months of Vertigo, so everything's favouring them right now.
Oh, already in with the engagement from Spooky, trying to take a similarly aggressive pistol round as to what Big did over in their first half. Process first caught, hyped with a responsive though, takes Spooky right back out of the fold, looking for the next man as well as they continue pressing up here on the prospect side. The bomb on the back of Franson, but Sin and Hype to getting the kills against his backup. Bobek and Rolf to fall, forced to fall away, footsteps heard. There is one player in mid that could try cut the rotations. Hype gets only 1 kill before he's dropped towards Arrow, and it's all Franson alone.
And Franson's best bet here is to just focus on getting the bomb plant, but I don't think that's going to be possible at all with Hype this quick.
I don't think so either. Leaning in. Held back that quad position. Arrow, check in. Lean up the USPs. Spotted now. Engagement for Arrow. Wins the 2K. Wins the 10th for Big.
And for Arrow, this would be a massive chance for him to be able to get to an international LAN. Again, played on Onyx talent, stood in for the Onyx main team for a couple of events, but we haven't seen him at this sort of level very frequently. He's actually only got 38 maps on HLTV for his entire career. Imagine what it would be like to join up with Big Academy in the first week of January and find yourself only a month later qualifying to an international LAN event.
Advantage still sits with Big and will extend even further. Prospects must be understanding of the fact that they're still not truly broken this squad. They might have broken the win streak. They've got a lot more work to do. Even the backstabs, why have you knifed your own teammate there, Spooky? That's going to hurt. Now Arrow going to pick up the pieces for it. 2K spray. 3 kills to fall. Everyone falling. Everybody falling. Nice and easy there for Big. No real resistance from the Prospects. But their focus was the gun round.
And for 0-0 Prospects, they're kind of in a position here, Jay, where if they don't win this opening rifle, it might just be map over on Vertigo. The way that Big Academy can settle themselves on the CT side, the way that they can work with, of course, the economy state. There's not going to be many more chances for the Swedes to start grinding in a comeback.
Still playing the bonus weapons here for the Big side. Slow but sure. Minute and a half on the clock, and they just hold their positions here. Process happy to play behind the smoke again. Big have been taking the pace for this entire game. Doing damage already to Hype and Spooky.
They're just chipping away. Even Rolf's hoping for some further aggression. Retaking nades, they might have to respect this.
Force forward, Rolf kill, found. Hype at least gets one back in return. And Sin has a slight gap to play with there for the CT side. Bursting through, doing again a little bit more chip damage. Nothing definitive though, still a 4-on-4.
Now they've only got one player on B to defend of Sky, so he's going to have to be pressured and very defensive to have an idea of what's going on, because rotates are going to be slow, and that might just be the round over.
Picking and choosing the footstep noises and reading exactly where that player was. A quick shot from Franson straight through the smoke, didn't even need the vision. And Big already backing off to save, you're right about that call. Money is just about there for him to scrape together a buy with these 2 players going down. Passed off those FAMASs, still play a bit of a bonus sort of buy, or bonus setup rather. The investment's got to be successful though. Can they find the AK that was dropped? I don't think they can. I think it might have been... No, actually it's right there. I thought it was going to get tossed off the bridge. So even then, they walk away with as much as possible.
The Big Academy are going to be able to give themselves a very solid buy going into the next. 0-0 Prospects. Needed this. Needed this big time. And knowing that only one player went down, that's going to help out the confidence ever so slightly. Sky might have felt there that one kill could have potentially set up a retake. But knowing the B anchor got nothing, that's where Prospects are just able to overwhelm completely.
Still 4 rounds to make up, and Big have the full guns out, the M4s. Surrounded the saved M4 AK for Mars setup, and now same for Arrow the same. No EWPs of yet in this half. Of course, there's AKs across the entire board of the Prospects to respond. This is their window in, like you said, Dwayne, the important round for them to take. But their next step is following it up.
The Big Academy are going to be ruthless with this ramp control, just constantly peppering nades. HE out there towards the left-hand side of the forklift. Teammate in as well with the spam. Gets hyped down to 66.
Molotov sent. Spooker's waiting a flashbang. Sees one. Process full blinded. Second adjustment against Hyped. Giving up the 1v1 there with a dry peek to 5-on-3 for the Prospects.
And the timing works out really nicely there for Spooky, because I think Big Academy wanted to peek together, but just Spooky was so quick to acting while that first player was blinded that nothing could have been done. And this might just be a round that's called off already. The only chance Big have is if they gamble stack, and that is what they're trying to achieve. All players shifting over to the B defense.
Just as Prospects start to shift over to the B attack, this is actually the right call to make as well. First porter call, Sky, Sin playing off-site anchor, still sprayed through alongside Sky, responding with a second headshot or the same 2-on-2 situation. That bomb might cancel and go back to the A site, but that stack has reduced it to an even man standing. This is still possible for Big.
And Spooky might have to take some map control away. Think about aggressing further forward out to the elevators or the sniper's nest. He's got to put pressure on the rotating players.
Decent flash in from one CT, that's Sin. Finding a kill on Hype, Spooky, all that remains, 1-on-2, tapping that bomb. Sin the area held as he tried to look back for even more. Sin's already on a 3K. Spooky needs a quadra clutch in this one. Head of 1 CT, finds the fight, arrow falls. Where's the last man? All the way back on the chase. 16 seconds, he's got enough time to go for the plant here.
Sin can try and run him down though. As soon as he gets that bomb plant in, try and engage onto a fight.
Stuck on default. Headshot seen by Spooky as he lands that quadra and indeed holds the clutch here for Prospects.
They're keeping themselves in the map here, Jay. 2 very close rounds back to back. And it probably should have been as well a slightly easier round. You consider the 5v3 that Spooky was able to find them in with a double entry towards the top of ramp. Big Academy having their gamble stack out to B. Sin finding a massive amount of kills. But in the end, it was the clutch from Spooky continuing to hold weight with Rolf.
Pistols brought in by Big. At last, they have been broken.
We've seen a lot of damage on these kind of rounds, though.
Wouldn't take away from the Deagle potential. They've got that much in their hands, so don't count them out until the round itself is over.
I'm expecting a good couple of kills. Not a round still, but some damage.
We've got one T-side player prodding up. That Spooky is the forward man out towards Ali. You've got Spooky backed up by Hype. Could be a couple of engagements they can find there. The ramp control. Sin's hunting for one. Done extremely well so far as part of his side. Second top frag of his board. Unable to make it 18 picks though. Sin drops the Spooky's kill.
Bobek's making some noise outside of B. Now, there has been one individual of Sky that's walked all the way down. He's by himself, so if he falls, that opens up B completely.
Rest of Big going in for the gamble stack over towards the A site. Process continuing to try to fight on. Finally, get Spooky for one decent pick. Molotovs are being sent back from the T side. Meanwhile, as Process overextends, hunting for that AK. Trying to get it in his hands, trying to get some firepower, but maybe giving up the round as a result. Hyped does pick back on Rolf. Arrow forced to fall. Another AK as well for Sky if he rotates in for the backstab, which is what he's doing in from ramp. The question is, do they take these AKs and go with the retake, or do they just save them? Well, Hyped is going to go down, so for Sky it might just be that safe call. Seen, headshot, not received. He's just not even getting a kill out of that one. Decent effort, but ultimately fruitless challenge. 11-9 for Big Academy. Prospects back within 2.
And I am wondering, come this second half, do Big Academy need a second helper to Process? Because we've seen a lot of impact from him. Have not seen much as well. I guess Sin could be the second person with some impactful moments here and there. I wonder if that's something that they've got to consider, setting players up.
Quick in from Bobek. Trying to set himself up. Ooh, the AWP has seen the gap in the top. Some Processes are going to get caught for it. Stellar start from the T-side line, and line sprays off, and Bobek could even catch Sky indeed. Reads the right place at the right time, gets the kill. And Prospects up by 2.
Yeah, they're starting to gain some form, and this was something that we saw from them against 9 Academy, was that they had some long and very extended round streaks. Prospects in a 5v3 again. On the majority of rifle rounds in the second half, it feels as if Prospects are winning absolutely every opening pick.
Minute on the clock. Big feeling the hurt of those opening picks, of all those fights that seem to be going the way of the Prospect side. It's not just opening starts, it's also follow-ups and other sorts of frags and trade games just aren't going the way of the CT forces. No defensive towards the B site, no rotation to follow it up. They're going to have to save their weapons again. Money's not great for Big. And the Prospects will look to equalize again, setting up their own little streak. The streak of 8 rounds, of course, got Big in the lead in the first place. That was all on the T side. Can we expect similar sort of stances from the Prospects? So far, it's looking good.
Well, the numbers actually look fairly decent from them. They've got a much better T side of Vertigo than they do on their CT half. So that might be something they're having to rely on. Even putting some pressure down on ramp. If they drop one more player, that could be huge.
It breaks any real force back potential. I'll say that much at least. Sin does get Franson, and Bobek gets that kill that they're requiring. Might even dip in for a little bit more. There were more CTs around that position. Hyped and Arrow do get challenged. Nice. They drop Hyped. That's massive.
If 3 players saved, there could have been a buy chance. There could have been 2 for Masters being dropped. I think they actually could have afforded 1 M4 and 1 for Mars. So they would have had a pretty decent rifle round. But with 1 player staying alive, or even 2, there's nothing that you can manage. So prospects will know going into round 22, they won't be on a buy on a table. It'll be a light eco. And it's probably not that fearful because there's only 1 rifle. That's all they've got to deal with.
Advantage will only sit with Big for so long here. This will be the equalizing round. Already that rifle's been taken out of play. Spooky wasting no time dealing with arrow process. We'll grab it back as one of the players with Kevlar flying a little bit into this round here for the Big side. They have got the loss bonus to play with. Trying to see if they can take an advanced stance, try and win a fight to sneak one away from the prospects, but in this situation, the B site open, presence being taken, it looks like this round is already over.
Does seem that way, doesn't it? It was the right idea there for Arrow. Try and set that first rifle up for immediate impact. Sitter for hype.
Nice and effective shot. Sin, Deagle, out of the smoke, 60 seconds left. Rolf gets one, Process with a return on 2 players at least, trying to keep it somewhat expensive. Maybe even Spooky could also drop. No, Sin found in the corner, cowering in the corner. And we go 11-all for prospects and Big.
And for Big Academy, it has been quite some time on Vertigo that they've been properly tested. I think back to some of their results, a lot of one-sided victories, even taking a map off Blue Jays on this. A lot of success on Vertigo. Very few teams have been able to take them to double digits, so seeing at 11-11, you'd probably start getting worried if you're Big Academy.
Burst through an arrow. He's starting off this round on a positive note. Bobek need to charge back towards the B stairs. Incendiary is worth thrown by Big to throw him off kilter, so he's forced to take a much more advanced angle. We're going to win the fight. Spooky wins the fight against Process. Flash turned away from him for 51. The player's seen the player over at Sandbag. Similar story. Nade on towards Hyde. Doesn't quite get the kill, but his peek out will give it up anyway. Spooky looking for a little bit more, but finally Dink down to 12. Should be forced to fall away.
He's beaming. He's hitting so sharp right now. But that was a good call there from Spooky. Just relax. You've got a double entry. Don't just keep going for more. Man advantage. You've got some lurks out there towards the B stairs. This is very promising, even with Big Academy taking back some of this ramp control.
M4 peeking forward. AK of Spooky leaning in. Perfect burst. Sin to fall. Keeps going. Even when he's low HP, Rolf will be the one to close it out on the B site. And the prospects now have the lead above Big. And you were saying earlier in this series, Dwayne, if one team can steal the other's map pick, then that changes the complexion of this series. With the prospects being in the lead now, Big have something to fear.
I ain't being funny. I think this is already over.
Really?
Yeah. Prospects are looking too good for me. Their T side, their confidence, some of the individual moments, the way that they're reading the mid rounds. Even Spooky gets double kill to ramp. Slow it down. Work the B stairs. Go up from alley. Catch one of the A players getting back to elevators. They're just manipulating the CTs at a very high level. And when I see stuff like that, I'm seeing more than what the scoreline's telling me. I'm seeing a very solid and well-drilled Swedes of the 0-0 prospects in this second half.
Well, on that I can agree. Let me give it one more rifle round before I'm truly convinced that it's over. Not least because Big pistols in this round. Next rifle would lead to a 15-11 scoreline. Upgrades here and now, but it has been 6 in a row for the prospects. They are not letting up against the Germans. At least there is a little bit of bite back. At least there's damage being done by these Deagles here.
And this is one of those rounds where, even though it is a very low upgraded eco, you've got to be looking for as much as possible. They've got to be going in with a plan of stacking up with one another, maybe playing the buddy system, trying to get some trades off, recover some rifles, because you've got to limit the economy. The money is just way too strong right now for 0-0 prospects. You got Spooky at 10 grand. That should never be a possibility.
That's just a high roller. Very stable money line here for the T side.
It's going to take a few rounds to reset.
At least. Big understand this. Surely they must have a decent read on that front. This might not be the round to do it, but they have the breathing room to break them.
Got a good read. Gamble stacking towards A.
Molotov's on, 3 players to hold, 1 man in mid, 1 man at the back of the B site that can provide semi-quick rotations. Smoke sent, hyped up close with that P250. Just waiting for a flash to come forward, take some quick pop shots, doing some damage to Spooky again, chipping away the HP bars. Might lead to some kills the last 30 seconds.
Flash is going to have to be good. There's a lot of players here.
Sent over, Franson tagged up. Prosus lines up 2. That's the play they're looking for.
Rotation back to B. They've got B open.
Bobek will call it in, 16 seconds. The bomb will just barely get here though. Spooky, meanwhile, striking back. He's got that first kill in on Process, going to keep their attention drawn away. But Rolf, he'll just barely get to the bomb site. Bobek's got to cut these rotations off right here at the seam. First player in, he goes down. Second man, can't quite fall. The bomb, is it planted? Just in time it is, but Rolf's all alone. Spooky, too late to rotate. And they're on the defuse already. He's playing too slowly. It was down at default. It's not in the open. He can't do anything from here. Big look to steal one back as they hold their nerve and hold us at evens.
Excellent steal there for Big Academy, getting so much out of that. And Prospects, they made the right call. They realize there's a stack on A. Time is incredibly low. We've got to lurk out from Bobek. But if you want to turn that round to be successful, Bobek has to make a massive play close to Guardian. Because Rolf, as soon as he got off of that plant, he has to fight instantly, and that's not where you want to be. That is just a perfect round for Big Academy.
12 all. Big finally breaking the streak. That's 6 in a row for Prospects. Their winning ways have come to an end, but is it a permanent end? Apparently looks to be for Arrow's part. He finds Spooky, quick kill, starts things off.
It's just what they're looking for in the follow-up rifle round. Put that incendiary down in case any further walk-up can come through from the alley position. Prospects don't have much map presence at the moment. No mid-lurker, no entrance out to the B stairs. This is where they might slow the clock ever so slightly. Even Bobek's trying to hope to sell them on a fake towards B, but it is going to be a regroup at ramp.
Incendiary's held. Sky setting his smokes up and is holding position with that AK. Sin shoulder baiting, trying to find a player that he can open things up here on the defensive line for. Execution coming in from Prospects. Gap in that smoke, gap toward the CT line. Sin finds one for it. Bolek tagged up as well. Plant can be denied by Process, is what he'll do. Arrow is responded to, but it's a 4-on-2 situation. Hype looking around towards Ali, trying to hold some sort of aggressive play from the CT forces, but the bomb's been dropped towards either side here. Rolf, baiting flashes, looking towards like his next entrance, but Hype picks him up. And it's Hype alone in the 1-on-4. 10 seconds, takes that first shot, lands that kill at least against Process, but no time to get the bomb down. No time to win the round.
Could get hunted after time. This could be really big to trying to at least establish some sort of reset. That's what Sim was hoping for. Spams are pretty good, but Hype's going to stay alive. There's more money back for the buy, but look at what this has shaped up now. Big Academy stole an eco. They've now won a next rifle round. They're holding on to themselves as survival. That's changed the complexion of Prospects of getting the steal.
Just when they started to gain an advantage, big bounce back. 3 rounds to the win for Big Academy. 4 for Prospects. And the money's still good for them here on the T-side line. Of course, the AWP had a little bit of savings to play with. Of course, didn't get much money, but everybody else, we talked about Spooky being on 10 grand a couple of rounds ago. He'll invest. Rolf, Bobek will invest. Franson still sitting a respectable floater, even despite these 2 losses. Loss bonus will also start to build up here for the Prospects. They still have the basis to usurp Big Academy, but ideally it will be this round win to start it.
Yeah, they should still be able to get a rifle round in the next if they get a bomb plant, but you're right about being able to cinch it here and now. That's where their main focus is going to have to be. Pace out to the B stairs.
Flashes in initially. Process. Smokes and flashes in. HE Sen. Not much damage being done here. It's decent bait from the prospects, but not so much to be said towards the B side. Bobek tagged. Franson, similar story. Nothing major, but it's worse than big.
Got an off angle being held. Oh, Bobek with the timing. Sky just trying to get the nade out.
And he's going to full send into the B side for it. Flash support as well from his teammates. Counteract by the CT side, but Bobek extends anyway. Arrow's caught. B side's lost. So's the round.
Now, how many CTs full is going to be my next question.
Yeah.
Because if they get one more pick, it would ruin the loss bonus and the money saved up. One kill might make a difference if a rifle round comes through in the next for Big Academy.
They're going hunting as well. Spooky was creeping around mid, checking all his corners. He's now going to extend all the way up towards top of mid. In an elevator. Is he going to find Sin? He's so close. It's all down to timing. And it doesn't quite land it. M4 holds his nerve. And everybody else holds back here for the prospect side. Doesn't want to give away too much money. 13 all. Sweden's bouncing back, doing all that they can to bring the fight back to this game. Big. Even with those save weapons, the buy-up itself is going to be weakened.
Oh, I'll be alright. They'll get M4s across. Sin's got money. Hype can drop over. Yeah, what happens after this round, though? Because the way that I'm looking at it, yes, it is still 1,400 loss bonus for 0-0 prospects, is that if the Swedes win it, they reset Big Academy. If Big Academy, they don't necessarily reset the Swedes.
The economy certainly favours the prospect side here. Franson. AK held. Bobek. I hope with some sort of aggression hyped. His AWP posted with the rifle, the M4 of one of the CT. HE's are sent. Incendiary's down. Hype ready with a flashbang to try to set up his teammate to move in. Not quite getting caught by Hyped or by Process here. Damage done to both those players again by the HE chipping away.
And this all comes down to who's got the better utility usage. Who's going to make it uncomfortable for either squad. 0-0 prospects aren't that keen on taking the ramp control. They've left Hype waiting for any over-aggressive play down the middle. Instead, it's actually a regroup with the bomb to mid.
Staying up those smokes again. Rolf swings forward. Sin is caught. Another great entry here for the prospects. Now Arrow backed up by Sky, the two defenders of the B site itself, which is where the T's are going to lean in towards. They might even bait one of those rotators here with the CT forces. Indeed, Franson, he's so ready at this elevated angle. It's going to be an easy pick for him, and there it is.
Just can't expect that at all. Mid to A split. This is so unorthodox. Straight out Process, 1-for-1. Very nicely done.
As they were rotating towards the B site, they had telegraphed it all the way for the prospects. Big caught in such awkward positions. And the result is a save for Sky. And you mentioned the reset, Dweg. You mentioned how it was always going to be a chance there for the prospects to just destroy the economy state. That's what they've done. And Big, they'll have one rifle to spare. What else could they possibly bring together?
And I think even some of the best IGLs in the world would be confused and struggling to get a read on what that round actually was when mid got taken. Because prospects just had every position on point. You've got your mid presence, you've got a player in a massively wild off angle from Franson. Is it B, is it A? You don't really know. You're getting trapped, you've got a lack of information, and the T-side default was too solid. There's attack. Do they buy? I think you got to buy here.
Yeah, Process is on a decent cash amount. Hyped can invest, Arrow can invest. The problem is Sin. Sky could probably drop him.
Yeah, he can.
That seems like what the call is here for Big.
And Process is $50 short from being able to drop a AWP over to Hyped without being able to get that armor as well. So that's unfortunate that they're not going to be able to get a big green into round 28.
At this point, though, beggars can't be choosers.
Hmm.
They have to bring forward whatever they can, because playing for overtime with the economy being where it is. I mean, this is the round that could possibly seal the deal if prospects take it. Big must understand that much. Or pin for Hype. AK has crossed the rest of the board. It will be do or die for the CT side.
And prospects bringing mass players over to the bottom of ramp early. Hyped with the flash down. hoping if there was any further aggression to wrap up to that Tarps position early on.
Nade sent in. Utility trying to receive where Rolf is at. HG's up. Did spot the quick jump phase. Not doing much damage to Hype though.
It's just back and forth with the trading of util. The Sky is waiting for that boost up onto the right-hand side. Big have got to hold on to as much of that util late round as possible. There is still so much on the belts of the Swedes.
Minute to play with. Incendiary sent to try and block them off. Process, there's plenty of backup around. We did not see the player that crossed out the Tarps. Spooky looking for the swing and the fight that he wins. Advantage now for the T side.
And Process just out in the open. Not even a teammate to peek on the contact. Arrow to walk down towards mid. Does deal with Franson.
That bomb still held back at the bottom of ramp. Good shot there from Hype. Does damage on towards Hype. The M4 still sticking around. Aggressive though. Catches one player back, so the advantage tips the way a big suddenly.
And now you can start seeing the shift of CTs on how many they can keep down to A. Bobek's hoping for another overextension. Boost up to the right side.
Oh, Sin. He sees one. He's caught a spray. Hype's fallen. 2 left down for the prospects. Bobek has caught Hype in return, but Sin stands alone and stands tall and proud. Bobek in a 1-on-3. Gets the first, but no more than that. 14 apiece. Big are pushing us all the way.
And that's just so much fluidity in the playstyle there for Big Academy, where they realize, let's fight top ramp control, give ourselves a man advantage, and rather than just play the percentage and play the crossfires, let's get creative, let's get a boost up in yellow. No one saw it coming at all for Prospects, and that one kill from Sin with that boost, that ended the round completely.
For Big, it's a lifeline gain, but still no breaking point here for the Prospects. Counter reset available for both sides. This could be the round that finally seals it. I know we've been saying that in the previous one as well, but truly, winner of this gains a massive advantage, massive likelihood to take over Vertigo. Spray into the smoke. Spooky just caught one. Process down to 10 HP.
This is the one round on a T-side default that is not a mid lurk or a B lurk. All 5 individuals here from 0-0 Prospects are regrouped towards a ramp control. This could be the round of a perfect opportunity for an info play, but Big Academy haven't been making many in this half.
60 seconds on the clock. Smokes are sent hyped. M4 backed up, waiting for a chance to receive. Oh, spray's not good though. Spooky has caught him. Finally, opening frag for the Prospects, and Process is still up here. Low HP, looking for the outer engagement. Flash keeps him blinded, but still blind. Spray comes up good, and another kill goes his way. But finally, Sin and him are traded. The 2-on-3, making it 2-on-2. Arrow next to the bomb site. Only lasts so long. Sky left a clutch.
1v2, does he aggress through the smoke, try and deny the bomb?
He's thinking about it. Keeps a little bit closer, but he's caught by Hype. That's map point for the Prospects, a map point that they've worked so hard for. And Big, look at the money, Dwayne. Look at it.
It's absolutely awful. At the same time, Big Academy have won plenty of these kind of rounds over Vertigo. The lower investment, the weaker rifle rounds, Prospects need to keep the trading tight and the good utility usage. No kits as well for the CT side. Consider that if the bomb goes down.
They're going to need to make this a steal. Map point for Prospects on Big Zone. Map pick. Arrow backed up with the SMG. Smoke sent. Bobek holding in the corner with an AK, hoping for an aggressive CT play, hoping that someone makes a play that he can punish. And somebody does. Arrow, first to fall.
And now for Sky, rather than actually backing off, he's going to continue to look to fight.
Well, they expect it. Meanwhile, Process has fallen elsewhere. Utility sent. Sky needs to make a hero play. Scene 1 finds that pick. Looks in for more. Doubles up, but Rolf finds that trade.
And now there could be an aggressive hype down for the ramp control to turn it back to a 2v2.
Low HP, 19 points for him, swapping out to that AK, but funneling them back into the B side. The bomb, however, is in mid. Coming back up the stairs as Rolf continues to press. Smokes in the way, trying to draw attention away from that mid position. indicating they're still going to make their way in from stairs. There's a gap in that smoke, though. He could play against the CT. Hyped is caught by Hype. Sin suddenly alone. Deagle finds the flank. Waits. He holds sword. It's the most patient play. He almost whiffed it, though. AK in hand. Hype. Tech 9, known here towards mid, and he counter-flanks the flanker of Sin. 26 seconds, they're going to go away from each other.
This is going to work out for Hype, though. Get that bomb down, play out the post plant. Sin's moving further towards A. That's going to take him even further. And remember, no kit.
Hype. Bomb down default. Sin's going to realize a hair too late what's going on. The AWP set and ready to defend. He'll get himself back down the stairs on all.
Sin's got a molly, doesn't have a smoke. Where does he put the molly? Surely towards the B stairs.
Gonna be a full 10-second stick and all. You mentioned the lack of kit. Don't know if there's one dropped on the site, perhaps. Molotov sent back towards right, but he's not there. Taps it once. Trying to force the player out. Look for the headshot, but it's not going to happen. 16-14. It's the Prospects taking the opening map of the series. What a result for them. And you mentioned, Blake, you said it, how important this map was for the big side, for both teams taking their own map picks. It's going to be everything to them. And it's been stolen back by the Prospect side now. I mean, that's going to be bad news for Big, right?
I think get the plane tickets ready, Jay, because, again, this is the series you cannot afford to lose your map picks in. If it was another series, if it was a different veto, I could accept it. Maybe there's a chance of stealing map picks, but in this context, knowing that Overpass gets played so much from the Swedes, it is a tough recovery here for Big.
It's a start for the Prospects, up by 1 in this matchup, and as you mentioned for Big, it will be a tough recovery. This was their banking point. This was their solid portion in the series. We didn't have any true idea as to who had the advantage in the veto. We thought, and certainly you were saying over the course of that map up, that both maps should be one-sided affairs for their respective victors, and then Inferno is where we really pick up the competition. Already that was a close map. Already Prospects have stolen one back here. Is it all? I mean, I kind of want to. I kind of want to hold out hope that Big still hold on to positions, but you seem very convinced that this is over already.
Yeah, it does seem that way. Again, I look at Vertigo 7-0 in the last 3 months for Big Academy. And the track record's not great for the Swedes. It's 2 wins and 6 losses. They've had some tough affairs. So the knowing that the bread and butter, the map that's so successful, the best map in the pool from Big Academy goes, no matter what the scoreline is, it goes. It does not become a W.
Indeed, it's not a W for Big at this particular stage. Their map, the opening one in this best-of-3 series in this qualifying game, has gone the way of 0-0 Prospects with one more map to go, their own home territory of Overpass to get them to Lofoten land. We'll head towards a break and find out whether they can do it after this. Not the start that Big Academy wanted, most certainly. One that could end their run here in the Lofoten qualifier. Their own map pick falling out of favour, 16-14. And as you were saying before the break, Dwayne, this probably means that for the prospects, this is going to be able to take over this series over on Overpass, their own pick in this one. Why is that the case here? Like, why do Big have no chance?
Well, put it this way. Since Arrow joined the team this year, Big Academy have played Overpass twice. In the last 3 months, we have seen prospects play it 23 times. It is the highest played map in the pool. It's the highest picked map in the pool. And even Rolf, who joined them not that long ago, has played it 15 times. It is ridiculous just how much game time these guys get on Overpass.
Yeah, it's not very encouraging from the outset, is it? Like, just looking at the situation that we have ahead of us, given what we've just seen so far in this series, and as you were saying at the very start of it, we should be seeing both teams take their map picks. It doesn't seem to indicate that things are going to look great for Big. At the same time, however, Dwayne, we also said it would be one-sided over on Vertigo for Big at the same time. So we have been wrong over the course of the day, and over the course of this week, we've made many assessments that haven't quite been on the money as well. So For me, like, obviously we can't really break down this in detail, but I wonder if there's been any sort of any practice on the side of Big in terms of adjusting its map board. Obviously, you've been mentioning over the course of this week that everyone's been working on their map board because of all the changes and everything that goes on to try and make it towards LAN events. I mean, is there anything we can bank on in that respect, or is it too unpredictable?
Well, we saw it against Metasport. It was actually Metasport's map pick, and do you want to judge that? 16-11, you're being tested against a brand new Norwegian team on that map a few days ago, and we're not talking weeks, we're not talking months, we're talking the round of 16. So even that, I think both of us saw that as a wake-up call. Being tested by Metasport probably should not be something in the vocabulary for Big Academy. It's going to be an incredibly tough grind if the Germans want to send this to a third map.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy, I think, is the key word about that. But look, we have seen a close map already from the Prospect side. So and I'm hoping, again, given the fact that this is now 3 close maps between the two cores of these two teams, that indicates to me that there's still some sort of magic in that side of things here for the Big side. Again, I'm just kind of holding out hope that this one is still the kind of match that we hope to deliver, that we hope delivers upon the promises that it was going to give us here in terms of this Academy head-to-head. In terms of star individuals from that last map that could come in and make impact here in this one, is there anyone you're looking at in particular that impressed you over on Vertigo?
Yeah, Process impressed me quite a bit for Big Academy. The factor was, in that second half, it was just him. I felt as if his teammates let him down quite a bit. We didn't see that impact from Hyped. We didn't see that impact from Sin. And when Process was performing as well as he did on map 1 across both of the halves, it almost feels as if there was a second guy, they possibly take that map. It felt as if he was high and dry, and I'm really hoping that he gets more assistance coming into map 2.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one. I think that there's been a bit of a habit over the course of this week from a lot of the teams involved where they've had a key star player that's not really been supported in the way that you kind of hoped him to, whether that be inside of the frag counts and the scoreboard, or whether that be outside interference like utility, setup, whatever the support players or these surrounding elements will be able to do to enable that kind of person. And I think that, that probably is something the Big Academy might have to focus on trying to enable over the course of our second map. It is Overpass. It is the pick of the Prospects. They are inches away, Dwayne, from taking their spot in Lofoten, what will be the first qualifying match for them. 1 up in this series. Let's see if they can hold one of their own. Pistol round. Going live.
It's been 489 days since France and Hype and Bobek last played at an international LAN event. They are going to be hungry as ever out here on their map pick to make it a 2-0.
Flash is sent. Spooky joining up with the initial defensive. Hoping for a bit of aggression outside of Monster. Smokes being sent by France and on towards that B site, onto the Heaven control, which will force one player of Sky forward. Arrows taking first contact back at jungle though. Getting a couple of quick pop shots off, but nothing major. 99 HP here for Spooky's part. Bobek actually gets the definitive kill. Kicks things off in his map up. Rolf meanwhile back towards Connector, spotting 2 individuals, taking some tags again. Not quite getting the kills though.
It's all about time wasting. Spooky does get caught for his over-aggression, so back to a 4v4. Bobek aggressive too.
So far forward in Graffiti, gets a kill alongside Rolf. Process with 1 back. Bobek does get caught off guard, and Sin can find the tray back to a 2-on-2 situation. Franson finding Process, chased out of short, onto the site, into the open, into the casualty, and Sin now left alone. 1-on-2, spotted there by France's position, still looking for a little bit more. That USP trying to hunt him down, doing some decent damage, goose damage in fact, but still not enough to get the kill until finally he gets that pick back onto the defuse with the kit, tapping it twice. Quick swing from Rolf, gets his headshot together, and it will be a pistol for the Prospects.
Rolf played super well out on map number 1, and I'm very keen to follow that progression out here on the second map. Again, he'd only officially signed with the team on the 24th of January. He was playing with them slightly before that because they did kick their IGL of Alex, but he's been a stable piece and he's been a driving piece. I'm sure he'd love to be able to get them over the line and qualify them to LAN. Host plant in with the 2v1 allows the opening round to go the way of the Swedes, up against a force buy.
This has been the case for Big. Prospects forced in their second round. Big will do the exact same thing here on the second map. He was in for Sin doing work. Still not the kill on Franson. Meanwhile, Spooky's going to prod forward in towards mid. Bursting, trying to catch him. Jump face from Process, lands on Franson overall. And does kick things off for the CT side. Sin engaged with another kill. Nice flick. Second not quite coming his way.
Now this is still looking pretty rewarding in here for Big Academy. They've got a mass number up. They've also allowed themselves to get a decent read of rotating 3 players to the A site. The factor I'm still wondering about though is the rifles. Double AKs for Rolf and Bobek. if they fake A and bring that bomb B, they've actually only got Arrow to deal with.
Rolf slowly but surely walking his way up with the AK. The Eagles in for Arrow. Trying to spot ahead of that smoke, but so far so little is being seen. Gone very quiet here in these defaults, but noise is being made out towards that B site, trying to indicate a B play, but it's all a ruse, and Big had bought it hook, line, and sinker.
Nice. Bobek just reads that super well. Here's those rotations. Should get a freebie.
Bit awkward on the spray, but Hype does go his way. 3-on-3 situation. The Prospects now have pretty much full control of the A site. They have to get that bomb down soon. Rolf on the other side of the site just in case. Safer plant on truck. Retake on.
Very difficult retake here for Big. Even that spam damage in for Arrow. Sky down lower. Bobek swinging out, and now you save. Now you get out of there.
Kevlar more valuable to them. They're still prodding though. SMG a process. Oh, he's caught one player. Second goes falling. Where's the last though? They have no idea. Now they do. The jump face has seen Rolf on the defuse, tapping it, sticking it the whole 9 yards. Quick swing, engagement, tap it ahead, but Arrow Scout hits it, and Big steal one away from Prospects.
I'm very surprised that actually came out. That MP9 was able to exploit a massive gap of a window, walking out from that bank control, getting over towards that right-hand side of Dice. It seemed as if Prospect had done everything right, good trading, get the bomb down, but not dealing with that MP9, and eventually it comes through with a successful retake.
Very nicely played. Bomb plant bonus will enable the force back here for the Prospects, as you would expect. Very aggressive buy strategies over the course of this series. So Deagles, Tech9, Scout, Galil back in play.
Flash forward, try and see if they can push themselves with a tempo play up there to the top of Fountain. Ending up backing off. You got Bobek flying out very fast and party. Lose that first fight immediately.
It's the Galil, the most powerful weapon. Now Rolf will drop the same. One of the Deagles out of play. Second player in the Scout. Losing HP to the AK, not quite dead yet. Big trying to make this as much formality as possible.
And this is getting super awkward for the Prospects. Unscope, the Scout still gets away with one.
Just one frag. At least to return something. But will it lead to anything more is the question. Is it just a consolation bit of damage? Flashes forward for France to try to take peek, grab that rifle, and get it away.
There's a long walk coming through from Spooky. The only player on A is Sky, so no one is actually watching out this long control. Sin might be able to do it from Bank.
Smokes in towards Heaven to try to stop any vision. Spooky prodding out towards the site. Galil in hand. No CT spotted yet. Was he spotted? I don't think he was seen. Okay. This is significant. That bomb's on his way in. France is going to get a pick back towards the B side, but now he's fallen. Meanwhile, Sky has evaded the contact on long.
They've got no idea. Absolutely no idea. Spooky gets caught on a timing when the bomb starts making the way to the site.
Tapped once as well with the plant. Scout trying to win a fight that you just can't do so. Hype with 2 low HP. Sin will close it big, up by 1.
And that's super unfortunate because Spooky's done everything right there. You've got a good fake from Franson towards B. You're trying to get them to overcommit, and Spooky knows I have to make a play. It's still taking a while for my other teammate with the Scout there of Hype to get into position. If I win this fight, it's into a 2v2 and it's winnable. It means that there's no plant, so the Glock round has to come in. They can't even upgrade.
Much harsher basis. Big as a result. Should be able to get the 3-1 on their star. Looking very similar to how Prospects played out their opening and big zone map pick. Glock fire will be able to take Process down at least. A bit of a firing squad there with the pistols. An M4 now in the hands of Spooky. What can he do with it?
And just try and get it in with the pack. Allow those Glocks to be the bait and get the M4 in for a pick. Hype, does he open up the squeaky door?
He's thinking about it. Catch 2, drop him. Maintain order in the server. A little bit more out towards the short pipe. That's a 3K. The quadra stolen by Sky. Irrelevant at this stage though. And 3-1 for the board of Big, and Prospects will have their guns.
Yeah, track record for Big in the last 3 months looks okay on Overpass. 4 wins and 2 losses. The issue I have is that it's only 2 matches played with Arrow, so it changes the complexion of the lineup slightly. It tells us that even in the month that he's been part of the organization, Overpass is not getting played frequently.
Prospects will be looking to exploit that lack of coordination. Particularly Arrow individually. Losing picks out there towards the monster position. Meanwhile, Sin, much more solid angle here towards the long control. Bobek caught. Man advantage.
And for Prospects, this is going to test the calling style here from Hype. How they're able to recover a 4v5. Round win percentages in these kind of scenarios on Overpass are very slow. Try and get some more map control to A. It seems as if it's a very heavy B-centered setup with the default again here for Big on the defense. Prospects not even having many nades from this point onwards to use.
Swing and a miss for Franson. Process picks up one, Hyped with another. Now Hype and Rolf on the T side are the last 2 players, which are very spread out from each other. No real backup potential. The bomb could get isolated back here at Monster. Arrow's thinking of a peek. Trying to spot for the man. Stall him away. Stall for extra time. There's only 40 seconds left on the clock. Either way, this should not be around here for the Prospects.
Sim for the HE. More chip damage going down onto Rolf. They're trying to hope that they can over-rotate the B play just to allow that bomb to slip in a plant if possible, but that's unlikely.
And now Rolf's dead. Hype is all alone. 1 on 5. Good shot. That's a start. 15 seconds. No follow-up process. Takes it back to 4-1 on the board of Big. And the Prospects. Not a lot in the cash buy. They are going to half invest, it seems. Bobek has brought a little bit into this round. I've got max loss bonus, so they can afford to go down to 1.5k.
Oh, we've seen Prospects recently getting victories over Mouse NXT, Falcons on this map of Overpass, even having some tight 13 rounds and 12 rounds against Forza and 9. So up against some of the higher end tier 2 squads, taking them quite the distance on Overpass.
Jump facing of that M4 Sky. Nade sent in towards that short position. Gonna burst through against them, but so far so little. Got Hyped or posted out towards the birthday party position. He's trying to take first contact out of T-Con. He will catch one individual. P250 pulled out to defend himself against the second. Might see a little bit more pressure from those pistols, but it looks like he'll escape.
The Prospects are just hoping to try and catch any individual players out in the open. Put that pressure down from party into the front side of the toilets, but nothing's being granted. Big Academy looking fairly comfortable in the early stage here of Overpass.
Smoke sent in for Arrow to suppress out towards that monster control. Just again, time stalling tactics, knowing that they have no real idea of where the Prospects are playing from at the moment. Could have any amounts of map control, so cover off all your bases. And go for the defensive when the hit comes through.
Hyped. Does he even get jiggled or wide swinged? You've got Sign up here at the signpost. Off angle. Gives away the position.
Oh, Franson gets the pick on Sin, though. Alongside Hype's kill on Hyped. All right, then. The Hype battle continues over the course of this series. It's a 3-on-3. Now, bombs should get planted at least. They've now got rifles to play with, the AWP, a Hype in particular.
This looks very good. Anytime you can get an AWP forward, Rolf's just got to try and waste some time. This could actually be a steal.
And there's Franson with a pick alongside Arrow's nade, but Franson doubles up for the triple overall. Arrow's left alone. About to face an AK as the smoke clears. He's seen him. Deagle pulled out. 1 on 2. Can't isolate that frag. Desperately needs to. He's running out of ammo as well, forced on a reload. That should allow a bit of repositioning here from the Prospects, and Hype catches him with the AWP. What a steal that is for the T side.
And we saw rounds like that, but more so for Big Academy, I think, out on map 1. Those still rounds, those ecos where it's just out of nowhere, you're able to come in. And for Big Academy, you almost wonder how that happened. 5v3, up against limited, upgraded pistols. There wasn't much pull there for 0-0 Prospects that could tell us that it was going to be a steal. SMG in for Arrow, going to show how damaged the economy was there for the big side.
can bring back the orbs and the rest of the M4s, which they will apply to great effect. Hyped finding Rolf. Kicking things off for Big.
It's a very good timing there for Hyped. As soon as he hears that smoke being used and put down, he wants to widen up the angle. Spam, though, for Franson. That might help out in the later portion.
Takes a little something back here. But no kills returned by the T side. Process might be low. But it's still a 5-on-4 for Big. Those nades coming in from Franson will continue to try and chip away. Actually, that one didn't even connect. Sky ready to support his teammates when the time is right. Bo3 meanwhile leaning in towards the mid control. In bathrooms, Hype is caught. It's a 4-on-4.
Hype wanted to reposition, keep that impact down towards the A bomb site, but loses the life. Sin wasn't even in a position to trade.
It's 4-on-4. Flashes in from Sky to enable Process to start peeking. Franson and his AK. Finds the spray with the man's back turn. He lurked there for as long as needed. And that throws things into discombobulation for Big. They're rotating players away from the A site, but so are prospects.
It's hardly any util. Even Arrow's given the position away that he's down there from pit. They've got to commit off of the back of this. They can't send it back to A.
Smokes at heaven, flashes over Molotov, sent in towards Graffiti. Franson charging ahead. 2 players seen, 1 being dropped. Sky is known, Sky is dead, so Sin. Clinical execution from prospects, third to the board.
Now, Franson, I would say, was quite poor out on map 1. He did not have a good performance on Vertigo at all. And I love it when players do this. You have a poor performance on map 1, you come into your map pick, and you step it up. You realize this is the turning point for me. He's been involved with a lot of those kind of mid-round lurky kills, and out to be, he helped them open up the bomb site when it was a gamble stack in the end.
I have to say, the starting up to this map-up has been so similar to the previous one, Blake.
Very much so.
From the scoreline basis to who's taking control of the pistol to the clap back of the 4 in a row. So if we're on for what I think we're on for, then we should be seeing an 8-round streak from the prospects. Of course, Big don't want to allow that to happen. Arrow does find the frag with Sky's assistance. Of course, the firing squad in general picked up there towards the park position, and they find another kill. That's 2 rifles.
The only issue there is prospects are just only going to get the bomb down on B. Now, for Big Academy, they won't look for exits here. Double AK being saved, it's alright.
It's good firepower. 2 rifles you don't have to buy into the next round with. Of course, they're going to have the guns out anyway. Long-term economy game is going to be benefited overall, though. The prospects. Just hold their nerve, as you mentioned. Getting that B site under quick control. Good read onto what Big are going to do here. Just backed up at T-Spawn, at T-Con. Hold on to those AKs and leave it around.
Just to give you an idea as well, map 1, 16-14 went 30 rounds. Franson has already got more kills in the first 8 rounds of Overpass than he did entirely on map number 1.
Yeah, that was pretty poor from him in terms of the individual performance, obviously, if they've got the map itself. That's a pretty significant advantage to take back for his side, though.
The one other thing to consider is that Franson's the highest rated player on Overpass in the last 3 months for 0-0 prospect. So they know that he's a little bit more of that individual that can put up the numbers, averages a 1.21 rating. So we're expecting, even though it's a good performance from him in the early game, it's going to be consistent. It should be consistent.
Well, Hyped and Process are keeping pace over on the Big side. In fact, they actually have more kills than Franson at the moment. Matching up to Bo3 on the prospect side. Try and extend it with their guns. Hyped has one of those AKs, one of those important headshot machines. But it's very non-contact here from Big. They've got a little bit of damage to Bo3 to start things off, but the line of engagement is so far back.
Now, Hype, he's just trying to see if he can draw out one of these monster fights. Hope that there's a single individual, even for a jiggle peek, just to search for some info.
Smoke sent in. Flash is coming over to Bo3. And a little bit of that mid presence if possible. Hype's going to try to respond to that by getting a little bit deeper in the bathrooms. Try and wait for someone to peek ahead of that smoke if plausible. Sin will watch out for mid. Even prospects aren't too delighted or too keen to take that mid presence just yet. Got 60 seconds to play with. Where does the hit come through?
It seems like an MB, just because they haven't got much map control in towards the front side of the bathrooms. Now, a flash forward indicates a big academy are trying to get some of this short water control, and they've actually got a very good spam onto Rolfing Con.
Lovely jump face from Sin. Spray through, and that might give a little bit of info to what's going on. Still nothing seen out towards that A site in mid. The 3 players on the B play. Hyped and Sin might be a little bit slow to the rotations, and it's slow to the hit for Prospects as well.
Franson's going to have to be late to come through from this monster position. Has to get an entry.
Swing, slowly makes his way up Sky, catching one. Franson trades back arrow, doubles up towards Process, brings it into a 2-on-2 with Hype skill, but Sin drops the bomb carrier, and Franson's got to do it all on his own. Extend forward with 6 seconds, get that bomb down at default, but being pressured by CTs, he's got no time. Wins that one, fight! Oh. Okay. You saw where that was going, but Big shut it down at the right moment.
He's played that to perfection. He's played that so damn well in the clutch. I hate those rounds because you know how close it is. Read that like a book. Because he knew that he wasn't getting that plant down. There just was not that available time. They were going to pressure him. And for Big Academy's point of view, yes, it's a round that gets you back in the lead. Yes, it's a round that's successful, but it also ruins the economy. You've got an AWP out without any utility. You've got an MP9. Prospects still have a full rifle round. They're looking at this thinking, oh, mate, imagine what happens if we equalize.
Economical advantage was something that Prospects had over the course of Vertigo as well.
Very
so if
true.
this keeps up, if they keep doing the damage, Big are going to have even more problems as CT side rolls on. One good reset, suddenly you're back in the lead. Franson's got the info. Sky's taking damage. Could have been a bit more there for me, but 55 HP. It's always a start.
Franson was even holding for that jump, but as soon as he moves his crosshair away, that's when the jump comes in. Big. I've had quite a lot of heavy stacks over to the B site, so Prospects might have to feel themselves that they need to show more A presence to either bait more utility or get them to overthink exactly what the setup is. That's why they've got Bobek out here from the party control.
Smokes on a monster, going to back off the main T side force, including the bomb. Got a bit of presence from Bobek to try play on his lonesome out towards mid control. Flashes in from one CT over towards the B site, going to try and enable Sin to start peeking. Bobek ahead of Divider. Must know that this player's fallen back.
Now, Sin has to be careful about how aggressive he is because he's the only A-site player. The fastest one on rotate is going to be Sky, so he can assist, but there's hardly any util left.
Smoke Animals dumpster will at least come through from Hype, flash in to allow them to peek in from mid. Catching Sin blinded for it, but similar story for the one T-side player in the back. Molotovs being sent 20 seconds. They finally isolate Sin, get that kill. One at pizza corner, dealt with by Rolf. Bomb down, 5-on-3. Much more clinical from the Prospects, and well, with the economy state being where it is for Big, they've got to save now.
And this is very much what I remember seeing from the second half of Vertigo. That T-side of Prospects where rifle v rifle rounds, they just look like the better team. Now, we can look at the scoreline and say, oh, well, it's fairly competitive. It's 5 apiece. A lot of those rounds came from the early portion. A lot of those rounds started from the first 5 or 6 rounds of the game.
Franson finds Arrow, picking up another exit, an important one. The AWP now being defected and might even get challenged here. They've got a little bit of time left. I've got Franson just trying to prod towards this position. Will they try to look for the AWP? No, they'll back off. Prospects just happy with the 3 kills. It means that the buy status is very awkward, I think, for the Big Academy. $1,900 on Process. 3,100 on Sky, the most high roller here for the Big Academy scored. I mean, force buy, is it worth it? No.
Nah. If maybe Prospects had less money, if it was maybe more back and forth, there could have been the idea where Big Academy look at themselves and say, we can still force a reset. But because of this round streak, you have to play it safe in this scenario.
We'll get the 4 buy in the next round. Let's see if Hype can protect the AWP if plausible. We've got a 3-man boost going on towards the jungle area. Molotovs are being sent. Process going to get that M4 back out of dodge. Molotovs sent in by the T side. Quickly storming the B side, wasting no time trying to get this round on the wraps.
I do wonder what this M4 is going to find because they don't know he's here just yet.
They do now. Arrow actually caught the kill for it on the USP, but they heard the fire, they heard the spray. aware of at least 2 individuals back there. Rolf trying to cover off any backstab potential, but he's going to have to move in to try hold the line because the retaker's coming in real quick. Hype's caught one, and Process finally strikes. There's Spooky inbound for the casualty. Franson with 1 decent pick back. 2 more CTs close to the site to deal with. Gets the first and the second. That's a 3K overall, and Hype's got to save the AWP.
Franson's playing so unbelievably well on this T side. So many multi-kills. And just the readability on where the fights are coming from is what's really making my eyes open to this.
15 frags for the man.
What a difference.
It's a little bit silly. He's doing his work, and the prospects are gaining a lead for it. Before you even consider the impact that Bobek has had in his 10 picks, and just in general, the style that they're playing, again, has been so confident when they go for these site takes, when they hit B especially.
Just good utility usage a lot of the time, some very strong spacing between one another, not giving up individual duels, fighting together. Big Academy, they're struggling to adapt because they've had stacks on B. There's no denying that they've had 3, sometimes even 4 players on the B side.
They've got 3 on this round. 1 pushing forward in towards Monster over on Arrow. They've got Process on the B site. They've got Sky backed up over at the jungle entrance, trying looking towards Short. Arrow with his M4 in the corner. Waiting and baiting and holding for face. The smoke will clear. Bobek will give up the ghost. Spooky will let the trade back, trying to transfer onto Process. Wolf holds his line. 3 on 3.
Sky's got to try and perform, at least drop that bomb, follow up. Franson's got a pick towards Shortwater.
So it's even man standing still in the 2-on-2 this time. Sky center of the site, backed up behind the default box and isolates a perfect angle onto Hype. Franson now left in the clutch, seen the head. Is he aware of the drop-off? I think he might be. Quick swing, when the AWP fires. 1 player given up. Second drop has also been heard and now been seen. Shots ringing out. And Franson's got time to play with here. Hype must realize this. They've got to try and win the challenge of the fight. Burst fire continues, and the spray does not quite come together. Hype to the USP closes out the 6th and the equalizer.
The Big Academy did very well with the trading game. The way that they keep that pressure on towards the bottom of monster control, even the off angle being held from the left side of default. A very good attempt at the 1v2 there from Franson. But yet again, the conversation of the economy game. Big Academy have won another round with a single player surviving, and you've got a FAMAS, you've got 2 SMGs, and all I'm looking at is AKs and an AWP on the other side.
Well, despite those limitations, they managed to keep it even, 6 apiece.
Yeah.
Prospects looking for the real true breaking point, the one that catapults them into the into the second half with a clear and defined advantage.
I don't even think they need it, to be honest, Jay.
Maybe not.
Big Academy, looking at their T side, in recent history, they're going to need as much out of these last few rounds as possible.
Well, a 9-6 half of Prospects wouldn't hurt them. It would hurt Big, it wouldn't hurt Prospects. 1-for-1 trades out long initially. Spooky and Sin, the casualties of that engagement. Sin did get a kill before he fell down.
Boost up for Hype.
Yep. When's we going to see Sky? Man down. Orpa Hyped, however, responds the same. Smokes come back towards the bathrooms with the smoke divider suppressing any sort of contact. He gives Process a chance to swing forward. Very awkward spray. Transfer almost gets the 2K, but Arrow's inbound for it. Hype's all alone.
1v2. Player towards the right. Doesn't know about it. Ah, the timing works out nicely there for Arrow. Widens up the angle, and Hype thinks that he's repositioned closer towards divider. A round where there's a lot of focus on the backstab there from Big.
It worked out well. We've got to play those SMGs smart if we wanted to get the success. You mentioned the lack of the buy in that previous round, and it was the SMGs that were able to win it, so fair play to Big. And for Prospects, it's going to be an eco round. 1 bit of Kevlar brought down by Franson. Deagles on 3 individuals. So we've got ourselves probably the half advantage for Big here on the CT side, especially with Franson getting picked up. Starts good.
The Process just continuing to put more of that attention down towards short pipe. Prospects are hoping to drop one of the AWPs. It's a rarity that we get a double AWP set up from Big Academy.
The M4's the one shining at the moment. 2 kills for Process. Bobek, not sure where to look. Finally wins that one good fight. That's a decent Deagle shot. Another one coming back from Spooky, but Arrow and Sin keep it held together. Spooky's still looking for that AWP to try and use, get rid of it. Good call, actually. Get it past the barrier, make sure they can't pick it up on the CT side. Sky will grab him. start looking around, recognizing very quickly that he can't get a hold of it.
It's a shame that Hype can still invest it anyway.
Yeah.
That's a lack of information that they obviously know. Spooky's main objective there is get rid of the AWP because they might not be able to afford it, and they actually consider the situation of running double AWPs in the last round. We don't want to run it again. Even though we got the money, we don't want to run it.
Let's go with the M4s, the utility basis. Prospects. You know, full AKs of their own right, so no AWP for them the same. Last round, round 15. Again, 8-7 is the best scoreline that the Prospects can go for. Big would love to get another 9-6. Mostly because they might need it here in this map up. They weren't quite able to finish it off over on Vertigo with that exact same scoreline advantage. Process and Spooky in the first couple of kills. Arrow with an Eastern trade back, an advantage that sits with the CT forces and continues down that route. Franson and Hype, last 2 players remaining.
Got to try and work out this monster control. Arrow down on the other side, just to the left-hand side of the pillar. And now Hype's last one left. Should be nowhere back at all. 1 kill, but that's probably it. They'll need to shut this down.
Sheik is aggressing, giving up another fight. For a moment, it looked like Hype was going to get a chance there at the AWP, but the quick shot coming in from Hype himself makes it a 9-6. And again, same scoreline as the turn of the half as what we had on map number 1. That was not enough to get Big Academy their map victory. So now going into this situation that you were saying, Dwayne, Big not good on their T-side line. Give me some numbers. How bad is the situation really?
It's not awful, but it is a 40.9% round win percentage in the last 3 months on T-side. So 9-6 half is adequate, and it's definitely what they needed towards the tail end. But I still look at Prospects on City side. It's comfortable for their sake. Even with this scoreline, it's still going to be a hard graft, I think, for Big Academy.
I'm not going to disagree. Smokes, flashes sent quick in from Big here on the pistol round, wasting no time trying to get towards the B site and do what Prospects didn't to be successful in the opening kill at least. Spooky, first man down. Franson with a responsive. Does take a bit of damage to 40 HP, and Sin's going to wait for that backstab to come his way in the corner. Ready for Monster. Gets that headshot, doesn't even waste any time against Bobek.
Short players playing out for the sandbags are still smoked off. Franson's hoping to get some assistance and deals with Process.
Wasn't expecting that up at Heaven, 3-on-3. For a little bit more, you're just back to Hype. He knows what's going on. Gets a reload in. That's a triple out for the man. Rolf gets one more of his own. Double up. Yes, he lands it. There it is. Retake successful. Pistol game by Prospects. That's their start.
And that should probably have not have happened. Franson was incredibly low. He got gooshed super early into the round. And looking at that post plant, you get an opening kill. Spooky drops, or at least allows himself to drop. And then you get one of those backstabbing kills from Sin towards a monster control. To me, looked as if Big Academy had done enough, but the fight out from Heaven, from Franson, again, a lot of X Factor.
He did his job. And Prospects reap the rewards for that. Big Academy. Their guns in, the AKs, the Galils, of course the bomb plant bonus. They are going to force the issue, as is to be expected for the T-side line. Not quite as strong as some T-side buys as we've seen in the second rounds, but it's 3 rifles versus 3 rifles. The 2 SMGs matched by 1 over on the T-side. Already that AK looking to engage. Bobek has caught the first kill. Sin with 1 decent responsive, but the advantage still sits with Prospects.
You can see that spam coming through from Hype into the boost lower portion, and from that point onwards, the short players just know, keep the spacing tight between us, we'll trade off one another. There's an extension here from Franson. This surely can't be cleared for Hype. It's such an off angle.
Let's see what he does with it in the bathrooms. Actually opts not to even take the fight at all. It's actually a surprisingly good call. We won't be aware of it. We'll gain the mid presence where there's a lot less resistance.
Probably shows that there's going to be more of a B lean if he's not committing out to long. Franson's starting to move further forward. This might actually benefit the likes of Hype if he stays in the bathrooms.
Much more advantageous than that off angle.
At the same time, though, it's an info play, and it will probably force Hype to rotate back to B and keep 3 there.
Branson leaning. The bomb, meanwhile, trying to commit out a monster, so they're going to go for the hit here, Big. Prospects. One of the MP9s posted. Rolf and his FAMAS setting ready. That nade does a lot of damage to Process. Almost, or over half of his HP actually taken out there. Hype tagged, now dead. Rolf with 1 decent response. Spooky going to wait for his chance. Franson gets his pick, and Spooky is there for the closer. Upgrade to the AK. No bomb plant for Big. And no buy for round 18.
Nicely done there for Prospects. And again, Overpass is one of those maps where you do need to make info plays on the CT side. You've got to get an idea of what's going on. And Franson's slow walk forward into the bathrooms forces that over-rotation from Hype. And notice that even though they've got 3 on B, they're still holding very deep crossfires. They're trying to draw them in. You had that first player of Rolf on the pit position trying to get them out to set up Spooky with the SMG out from the toxic barrels with his head ducked down.
Only basics here for the big side. Oh, nice nade again. These last 2 rounds have been stellar with HEs. Some responsive onto Bobek. Nothing realistically dangerous towards the CT side though. Process desperate for a frag out here. Teammate falls to him. Franson, pick up. Spooky, follow up, and a double as well. Last man left in Sky, 1 on 5. Formality round for the Prospects. They look to equalize.
The Sky's just hoping, can I drop 1 player? Can I just somewhat target the economy? Big Academy have to be focused on that rifle round of being able to respond quickly, otherwise they'll be given back the lead. Players all around, but players not getting overly aggressive, which I enjoy there from the Swedes. Don't ever like 5v1 overly aggressive fights, because I've seen it too many times and normally you get 2 or 3 casualties from it.
That 1 round when Device had a deagle, that monster over on overpass.
Yeah, it's prime examples. Overfeeding.
Yeah, was it Vitality the ones that fed him?
Yeah, it could have been.
To 1-on-4.
Yeah,
does happen.
Him. Does happen.
I mean, it's a good case study as to why you make that point. Fortunately for Prospects, it doesn't quite work that way in this particular round, but something to consider for the future. Especially if Big are down at any more pistol bases, so they have any more deagles to play with. Orp setting on Hyped, the AWP. Try and look out towards that long position. The AK backing him up as well. Big. Playing a war of 2 different fronts here. Going to try and rotate Sin to join the long front. They've got a player in France to try to defend against it here in bottoms again.
Franson's got the shadow advantage in this fight. Jiggle Pigs around the corner. Crosshair placement is unreal.
Perfect. Smoke in as well. Suppress vision on the next T-side player who you must suspect is out there somehow. Meanwhile, rotations are being called in. Hyped in his AWP. Trying to lean about. Back was turned by Franson. That's a decent kill. Rolf, meanwhile, point blank against 2. Sprays on towards both of them. Only gets one of the kills. Pulls out utility against Sky, who brings it into a 3-on-3.
And now the Orpa is still working the long control, and Bobek is still not seeing any further commitment out of B. So because of that, Hype is going to stay on A and with the likes of Spooky.
40 minutes. 40 seconds, rather. 40 minutes, wow.
Good read. Look at Bobek. He's positioned himself in short water, so he's going to allow himself to be in a position to cut the rotates out from Connector if they want to split B, or see the util coming from Monster.
Time's running short here for Big. Sin leaning in, and Bobek starts to close in the pincers. They know. Perfect reads. Another nade. Damage done. Swing up. Sky falls. Drops that bomb deep in at mid. That's over. That's round done. All they have to do is survive, and Big try to back off Sin. Can't escape Bobek's up clutches though. And Hyped will be quick to follow suit. 4 in a row for the Prospects. 10-9, they have the lead.
Flawless right now in this second half. And again, 0-0 Prospects have never attended an international LAN. They've been to 5. All of them have been local. All of them have been in the local scene. Think about how much this would mean to the org by putting money, putting resources into the Academy project to think this is it. This is the break that we're looking for against the top Academy squad, a big Academy.
When it comes to the next season of Academy League, you look forward to seeing what they can do there. Prospects already outpaced Big during Academy League itself. And now look to outpace them here on their own map pick. Spooky holding a crossfire with Bobek here at short. He will go down. Arrow with 1 decent responsive. Rolf is also in position. Sees 2. Gets 1. Struggles with the second, but backup's been called in. Hype with support up at heaven. Oh, what a shot to Hyped as well. Nice and effective. Nice and efficient. 11-9. Prospects just grinding their way up the win.
And this is where I'm going to have to look at someone like Sin and say, right, he's had a few months to play on the main team. He played with them at the Major. He's played with them at top-tier LAN events. Use that experience to get you out of trouble. He's the IGL, the current caller of the team. Utilize that. Use that experience, because not having a round in this second half without it being very competitive is a fear factor for just how much this could spiral.
Oh, what a shot. Hyped, finding Spooky to kick things off here. Oh, that nade from Sky. Timed well. That could have caught the jump phase for Bobek as it stands, though there's no damage done towards him. It could have been a fantastic follow-up to the opening frag for Big. Instead, Prospects just hold their line.
So they've got Franson in connector with no A-site player. He's going to look to challenge and then get a rotate up from B to A.
Might run into another T-side player, though. Molotov's being sent in. He's going to look to aggress. Yes, he will, but lose the fight. Arrows removed him. And Bobek's forced him out. Taker's placed back in mid.
Sky out towards Monster, deals with Rolf. And CT's realizing we need to just keep fighting. We've got to start bringing these advantages back.
And this is far better for the big side than it has been so far in this half. Rifles come in and Prospects fall apart. One man left in hype. 1 on 5 for him. Get back towards Graffiti, hold that AWP's position and just hope that no one challenges him as soon as he sees contact, just run away. Save the big green. I mean, they have cash, so they can potentially get it back. I mean, he's on $9,400 himself. So it's likely buy in the next round, but the AWP wouldn't hurt anything else. Let's see what he's going to do here. Bomb, plant, not taking a shot, not going for a lucky wallbang. Is forced out by Sky in the end, who brings us up to 10 for Big.
It's a good round from them, and it all started with Hyped creating that first opportunity with the AWP. That opening pick has granted so much more when it comes to the default itself. Slowing it down, waiting for over-aggression, waiting for Prospects to make info plays. But again, lack of rounds in this second half. How much confidence do you have in just one good one?
One deagle for Spooky, so it's still not flawless on the investment. Made damage up. M4 spray doing tiny damage to Arrow. Flash in to enable the quick boost up. There is a player up on short that actually might get picked up. No, he's going to be evaded. Bobek does see the feet of one in connector and actually kicks things off, finally finishing off the job he started on Arrow.
I like the way that they have the flash forward with that boost up, just making sure that you're going to be undetected of it. And now for 0-0 Prospects, just play percentage Counter-Strike. Deep in bomb sites, good crossfires. You do that, you win this round.
Flash over, lean in. Bobek. Smoke. Go out towards that monster position, just block off any contact in that side for Big.
What a read this is. They're going to keep 4 and A.
They're going to press up as well. The AWP is hunting for a fight. One that he'll win. That's the first casualty here on this A side of the map.
Oh, they're feeling confident. They're just making info plays everywhere. And knowing that that bomb is by itself, if Sin goes down, that's the round done.
And a push forward here from Sky, though. Look at where he is in terms of the B side. There could be a wraparound play if they stall it out. They haven't got much time to play with overall, Big. Sin trying to burst forward, and they are going to look to rotate to the B call.
But still, Rolf is here at Monster. This is undetected for.
Sky hearing footsteps all around him. The CTs think they're safe, though. He cuts them back by a single player. Rolf going to hide in at Monster, though. Hype with the AWP pick. Finds Sin. Rolf looking for a little bit more. They do check out Monster, and they get that bit cleared up. 3 on 2. Bomb's got to get picked up and planted. There's a player on short. Spooky making his way in. They don't even have the bomb yet. The Incendiary comes down as well from the CT side, and Spooky can strike. Sky's left alone. And the Prospects, despite the deep insertion from Sky, still managed to outposition him. Force out a tactical for Big. Their first one called in this game. It's been a long time coming.
And it shows me that the way that Hype is calling, that they're feeling it. Because they didn't need to make info plays there. They had already had the opening pick, but they're comfortable on this CT side. They feel as if they can make these aggressive plays, and it just puts so much pressure on the backs of Big Academy that you win a flawless 10th round. And then what happens after the back of it?
Instant clapback. A single round scored for Big here in this half. investment to be received. At least they have the bonus of the loss bonus itself, plus the bomb plant bonuses they can get with a decent site take. There's money that can flow the way of Big. They're still down in the economy state. Prospects are the ones that are better for the reset, though. This whole match could still tip in the favor of the T half if they can just break them here.
And they've got quite a bit of pace out to the long control. We haven't seen this at all from Big Academy on the T side. Haven't seen much long walks at all from them. Now, while that's happening, short water is being taken by a couple of individuals, so not a lot of information is being made out to B.
Not a lot of noise being hurled out towards long either. They might start to make their way into those bathrooms positions. Meanwhile, damage being traded back and forth between Rolf and Sky in at connector. Barbek, meanwhile, going for the info plays, and he's about to find a ton of information.
They know. They know. They're going to rotate Spooky back up. They're going to leave Rolf here in case they dive back down for connector. 3 on A. Another perfect read from the Swedes.
One set in the bathrooms, one set to divide. The AWP lands its shot. They fall back. Smokes on at divider itself. Going to try to block off vision. The T's are stalled.
Even Rolf's rotating up too. They are just running into the trap.
Even the backstab from Bobek will start to close in against the main T side, forcing the back lines. They're going to try push the issue. One's been seen. Hypesorb has caught one of his own right. 5 on 4 still for the prospects. Incendiaries even stalled Process. They're playing this so perfectly. Arrow next dead. Process. You have to count them all off. The flashes are coming in. They're going to try and peek towards the man. They catch him with the AWP. Bobek swings up. And Hype goes down. So does Sin. All 5 alive for the prospects. They're closing in on a confident win.
And out of all the matches I've seen in this closed qualifier, Jay, out of all the teams that we've witnessed, if we're just looking at the Counter-Strike being played, not the sharpness, not the X factor, not the top fraggers, but reading the game, making good calls, prospects have to be at the top of the list. Just playing fundamentally fantastic Counter-Strike right now across both maps in the series. And they've given 1 round to Big Academy at the second half of Overpass. They've given them no leverage, no control.
This is the kind of confidence you were talking about, Dweg.
Just the AKs being saved as well. It's the perfect round. And it's the perfect weaponry for round 24.
And for Big, it is the worst circumstances in the world for them. 1 AK force brought back into round 24. Gonna have no choice in the matter. Nades being sent, trying to bring together some sort of semblance of a mid-control take. Molotov sent. And just prodding around, trying to suss out Franson or anyone else there in the mid-presence.
Franson's hearing some footsteps. All a bit of distraction. First player to drop, but he should get encroached now. How much can he find?
2K, drop the bomb. Get back out of connector, knowing that must be clear now from the T-side presence. Process. Trying to grab this bomb if possible. Try to set up Arrow. He needs to be the damage dealer here. He's the only man with a rifle.
Hype. AWP. Another clinical shot from him. I just don't even know if another kill is going to get presented for Big.
Wrap in, Spooky, drops Process next, and Hyped is all that remains. A 1 on 5. Here's Deagle. Bottom con. Surrounded by CT presence. No matter which exit way he goes to, he's going to face somebody. He faces Rolf. And Bobek also on short. Spray back, 14-10. And this will be the final buy for Big Academy. If they can't win this round, it is lights out, GG, and Prospects going to Lofoten.
And what a statement this is going to be for Prospects too. To qualify to their first international land without even dropping a map. A 2-0 against 9 Academy in the round of 16. And now looking to be a 2-0 against Big Academy. You even think about Process, that was one of the leading guys out on map number 1. He's just been almost lost on this T side. We're not seeing that level of impact from him.
Nade sent right into Sin and Arrow, tagging them down so low. 47 and 65. CT side conceding that mid presence, but knowing that they're going to bolster up defensive. I mean, they have got 4 players over towards the B side, to be fair. Franson's all alone.
And Franson's just jiggling now, and there will be some info plays to be made here from Prospects. They could even try and take back this monster control with the AWP peeking in.
And indeed they do to find Sky. Opening man advantage again for the prospects, and now they're going to start storming long.
Franson's got to stay alive. The longer he stays alive, the better chances the rotators have of stacking up on A.
The strategy of survival is to push on, aggress, avoid the flashes, stay back in mid. His backup is also arriving in hype. Flash is sent over his teammate on the site itself. Rolf back towards the B play. Franson engages on one, wraps around, looks to fight the AWP, gets the double and the triple on the spray. Good night, baby. Map, match, and qualification point for prospects.
One more to go. And just, again, an unreal performance in this second half. Big Academy have tried everything. They've tried the tempo change. We've seen some quicker rounds. We've seen them have some mid-round fakes. We've seen them have the monster pops. We've seen them take tacticals. And no matter what they're offering on the T side, it is not enough to counter the Swedes.
You're bang on about that. One more will do it. Big need 5 to go to overtime. They will get an AK in on hype. 3 Galils. 4 of them as Sky completes the buy. They have rifles at least, but prospects. The CT side has had these 4 AKs for a while now. The confidence to the point of not conceding any of these picks for the longest time ever. Big can't break, and they took that 3rd tactical. Feels like a futile effort at this stage. But this is their last chance.
Franson, knowing that there's one down to connector, off angle, does get the drop down. Damage already being done to Sin.
Smokes against that incendiary arrow. To find a gap, he doesn't see the CT. He does now, he still doesn't take the chance. Bobek got the kill. Rolls followed up out towards this short position, 5 on 3.
And Sin hasn't reacted, hasn't decided to move out of that monster control at all. Franson's got the con pick. They're stuck outside monster in a 2v5.
And Sin's on 17 HP. And the AKs are lost. As is probably this matchup. A minute to go and Rolf is getting hungry. Slowly creeping in to hunt for the last 2 elements to secure, solidify, officiate this victory for the prospects.
Even out towards the short control. Bobek with the off angle. Rotate coming back in from Spooky at Heaven.
Stalling the inevitable here for Big. Taps to the AK, wins it, because of course he does. Process, a 1 on 5. Flash in, desperate. Gets at least 1 pick, but needs so much more. The writing's on the wall for him, but still he stands valiantly, ferociously, fighting for a victory, a survival for Big. But at 18 HP, still with 3 more picks to go, 20 seconds on the clock. Demise is looming for Big Academy. Bullets are flying in his direction. He's got another frag. That's a triple. Bomb plant, trying to be secure. He's tapped it, trying to force out even more picks, but they're not moving. Finally, they put the final nail in the coffin, booked their tickets to Lofoten. It will be 0-0 prospects, your first team through to land.
And it's an incredible story that it's this team to be able to do it. The first international LAN in history for the 0-0 prospects. Nearly 500 days since France and Hype and Bobek have been to an international LAN themselves. That's got to be a massive feeling for them.
What a result, honestly. I have to say that we all thought it was going to go to 3 maps, right? We were taking a look at this whole series saying, look, this should be one-sided for the picks of the respective teams. 3rd one, Inferno. That should be a banger. This whole series should be absolutely epic because of that. It could even go down to multiple scorelines if we see a little bit of history replicated in terms of this best of 3. We saw a little bit of it, to be fair, but ultimately it was still the 2-0 for the prospects. And I think a well done to pursue 2-0 at that twig.
And I actually think that these guys will be more of a threat in the next few months. And the reason for that, Jay, is think about this for prospects. They were getting a lot of success towards the end of last year. They kicked their IGL, brought in Rolf, and now transitioned Hyped into an IGL. He's very new to this. He's got a brand new role of calling and AWPing for the team, and they can play like that since adding a new player in 1 month. Think about what they can do in a few months with this full 5.
Well, a few months is what we're going to have to wait to see them in Lofoten because, of course, they have made their way through their 2 matches. They have qualified for the Lofoten LAN. They are in the quarterfinals, the round of 6, no matter what you want to call it, beating out Big Academy, who will drop out. We're facing the winners of the Young Ninjas versus Apex Rebels matchup, of course, coming up tomorrow. For Big Academy, though, just to close things out for their own side of things, seeing their whole position and their circumstances, obviously, like, I have to ask you, like, is there any major negatives or are there positives from this whole experience?
I think there is, because, again, Arrow's got less than 40 maps on HLTV. I think it actually gets him to 40 now with this best of 3. They've got a new player in. Sin's come back from the main squad itself. They've got a new coach. So they've got some new pieces coming in. It is disappointing. Again, this was a matchup where there wasn't much favoritism. They would have loved the chance of being able to win in this best of 3. But I look at map 1 and I look at map 2, and I feel as if in the majority of rifle rounds, they were outclassed. There was a much better team in the server today of Prospects.
You could just see from the way that they played that overpass, right? The confidence, the execution on that B site, most pertinently with the way that they played around just the team play, the utility usage. Everything just looked like it was on form on that second map especially. And even Vertigo, right? The idea that you fought that hard and you look just as confident in that one fighting against Big Academy's own home territory. So much there you can take away from the Prospects and give positivity of their own right. Positivity as well for the individual players. Dwight, I want to ask you for your MVP in this matchup.
I've actually gone for something slightly different today, Jay. It's a shared MVP in the qualification game because there were 2 players to me that stood out massively. In map 1, it was Rolf. He put on an incredible showing. And in map 2, it was Franson. Look at these 2 guys dropping 30 kills when it matters the most. When the pressure's on the line, Rolf, the newer guy that's only been in the team for the last month or so, Franson, after dropping 7 kills on map 1, goes 34 and 13 to qualify them to LAN.
Yeah, I have to say, that's quite a turnaround from Franson. He deserves at least an honourable mention, if nothing else. I mean, personally, I would have rated Rolf as my personal MVP, but even that's, he didn't even carry that onwards into the second map. So I understand why you're giving both MVPs, the MVP split between these 2 players, because, man alive, they have really impacted in both of their respective map-ups, and it was really a 2-map affair. So including all that in position, I can see where you've gone with this one, and I can respect that decision.
And there's so much more involved when it is a qualification game, rather than just a round of 16. So to see both key figures step up, it's tough mentally when you have a poor performance, right? And going into your map pick, you are the star player as such on Overpass. He is the best performer on that map. I'm sure that there would have been a talk, get Ritter involved, get hype and say, lad, we need you, all right? We do need that extra assistance out here on Overpass. And with the way that the team was forming and him fragging out, it was a perfect way to finish the day.
And indeed, a very short day for us here with our only series going down to 2-0, but we go from our shortest day in the qualifier to our longest. It's going to be an absolute bloodbath tomorrow, our final day of the week, as we have 3 matches for you. Masonic, 7 AM, Young Ninjas, Apex Rebels, Mouse NXT, Atlantic, all in action against each other in our final matches. In all those games being qualification games as well, Blake, it is going to be a long day, a hell of a day, and one that I think personally I'm looking forward to.
And I think there's going to be a lot of support for these squads. Apex Rebels being the last Norwegian team left in the competition, 7 AM. I'm sure the UK lads are going to get behind them because this would mean a hell of a lot for a UK squad to get to another international LAN event. Atlantic upsetting in that round of 16. Can they upset again up against the mighty Jimp Hat and Mouse NXT in that last remaining game?
It's all to come, starting at the slightly earlier start time of 12 PM CET here at the MistGames Twitch channel, so everything is going to roll on as we have to cram a lot of matches in over that one. If you had to pick one particular match to watch out for tomorrow, which one would be your highlight, your main event pick?
Probably Young Ninjas, and that's only because I really enjoy watching Young Ninjas play. They're, in my eyes, the best team in this competition, so I always want to see the best team in the competition in that qualification game. Is there a struggle? Is it a whitewash? Is there something that we need to keep an eye on? Because look at what they did in the round of 16. They absolutely spanked the likes of Tricked Future, and there's a lot of confidence brimming off of that.
Well, all those games will qualify into Lofoten, so you do not want to miss it in tomorrow's proceedings here for the MistGames Heroes of Lofoten closed qualifier. Until that point, we bid you all adieu for today. We'll see you back here tomorrow. We're going to continue to close out the action here for this week and set us up for the Heroes of Lofoten.